AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Ahead of a cold front, it's very hot this afternoon. Plus, we'll have a chance for some scattered showers and storms through this evening. Some could bring some damaging wind gusts, but it won't be a washout. We'll see more scattered storms this weekend. Highs cool into the mid to upper 80s by Sunday.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 181 points today to 52,669. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Deep left corner of the end zone! Jalen Coker hauls it in for a touchdown!
Off the back iron, Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
Copeland jabs on him a couple of times. Step back three-pointer, left corner, swish.
One dribble out for Boozer for three. Big time!
And the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for starting your weekend with us. I'm Tim Donnelly. Nic Scourton with us once again, producing the show, sitting in for Dennis. And he'll be keeping one eye on some World Cup action. Maybe one eye on some, is there tennis going on? Nope, no tennis going on. Perfect. So he'll keep us updated on the World Cup. And we'll get into some good conversations. Matter of fact, let's get into some of that good conversation about the World Cup as we start the Big Three at 3. Number 1. Big Three at 3, presented by Maynard Service Company. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing work, electrical work, quality work. MaynardServices.com. MAYNOR Services.com. Let's start with the World Cup. The nuts and bolts of it, just getting started, Spain, Belgium. Spain, one of the favorites. I have some questions about it. We'll get to those. But I do want to, this kind of swing through that they're calling it, the drive-by, which every 4 years we watch soccer. And when I say we, I mean the sports world at large. We yell everything that soccer needs to fix as a sport, and we yell everything that the United States needs to fix as a program, and then we go and we'll check up on your progress 4 years from now. Well, this is kind of the last chance to do that before we all check out and start paying attention to other things. The Pulisic commentary, right? He didn't try hard enough, or he didn't focus hard enough, or he needs to be tougher. And you're seeing Carly Lloyd, one of the best women's soccer players in United States history. You're seeing Landon Donovan, one of the best men's soccer players in United States history. And they're all being very critical of Pulisic. Do you know what I take away from it? We need more Pulisics. And I'm not saying like more of him and what he's been criticized for. I'm saying if your entire run depends on one dude having a great, absolutely lights out, he's got to be the guy performance, it's a single elimination tournament against very, very good teams. You need to be able to have Pulisic didn't have a great tourney, but so-and-so stepped up. I don't know if you have the depth, right? And that's the issue, right? And that's what soccer has repeatedly done in the United States, which is we pin all of our hopes and dreams onto one savior. This is the guy. This is the one. I mean, how many times have we seen it? Pulisic was definitely one of them, but we've seen it with Freddie Adu. We've seen it with even a Landon Donovan at times. We're seeing it now with Kevin Sullivan, who's 16 years old. It's just you pin it on one guy. It needs to be more depth. Unless it's, Lionel Messi or Kylian Mbappe or something, and not many of those guys exist, and I don't expect them to just appear, right? You can't just hope that you get an all-time great. Hope's not a strategy. Which leads me to this game that's playing right now, Belgium-Spain. And it just got started. Spain, to me, is kind of the if you're going to mimic, that's where you go. And the reason why I say that is they don't have the super-duper uber star, right? I did the Googling necessary, so don't say I ain't come prepared. Like, if you go and Google, top 10 players, top 5 players, some lists are like top 50 players. Spain doesn't have a top 5 guy. None of those lists give them a top 5 guy, but what they do have is like number 10, number 12, number 13, number 17, number 19 when it comes to best players in the tourney. That's what I'm talking about. Right? If one guy has an off day, they're like, all right, we'll lean on the 6 other dudes we have in the top 20 right now.
Plus, they got a dude who's like 19 years old that's already like world-class level.
Helps to get there, for sure. I almost think they're a little to bring it right back home. I think they're a little Canes-like in that they spread out the scoring and then lean on whoever's hot, whoever's got the hot hand at the moment, hot foot. I don't know what you call it in soccer, but it's a little bit of like, you don't have a dude, and it's like, well, you don't need one if you got a whole bunch of really, really good. Spain, Belgium. This one, I know you said yesterday the what was it, the Morocco game? You're like, Morocco, they belong in it. Is this one more of a lopsided affair?
I think it's kind of the same thing. I think actually Belgium has slightly better odds than Morocco did, but like both games, like there's a clear favorite, but like the other side definitely belongs there and deserves to be here. But again, they're going up against the juggernauts, the 2 favorites of the tournament, so makes it a pretty uphill battle.
All right, there you go. We'll keep you updated on that one as goals are scored or not scored. That's number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
How about those Hornets? Summer League edition. The Hornets picked up where they left off last Summer League. They're the defending Summer League champion. Last night, the Charlotte Hornets had their debut for this season and got the win over the Magic, 86-74, which is a good day. There is something about Summer League in a few of these Hornets. Liam McNeely is Summer League Jordan. Like this dude is unreal.
Yeah, last year with the 2 games he played before he got hurt, he was awesome. I think 20-plus points in both of those. And then First game of Summer League this year, 28 points, 7 of 8 from 3. It just feels like everything he throws up, especially from 3, is going in.
I mean, it's I don't know, maybe, we talked about how Con Knippel and Ryan Kalkbrenner last year, and obviously Liam McNeely, but you mentioned he was hurt. That was the real, light bulb of, ooh, there might be something here. And obviously Con Knippel went on to be, for my money, should have been the Rookie of the Year. Could Liam McNeely be a sophomore spark if Summer League can be that? Perhaps. Now, obviously, are we overreacting to one Summer League game? Sure, but that's what it's here for. Kalkbrenner, by the way, 3 blocks. I really like that for him. 10 points, nearly a double-double, also had a bunch of assists.
Yeah, he led the team in assists. He looked like an NBA player among a bunch of prospects.
And as, I don't want, maybe not an NBA player, but amongst a bunch of prospects, but one of the better prospects, I like Steinbach. I like what he was doing. Just the way he moves as a big guy, their other first-round pick, not Christian Anderson. But Steinbach looked good, and if the big guys get rolling, that's huge, huge for Charlotte. Because last year they had darn near everything rolling except at times the size down low. So good overall first day of Summer League for the Charlotte Hornets. Good overall. I'd say A-.
Got the win. That's the most important thing on the road to repeat.
I mean, it's like the 10th most important thing for Summer League, but it's definitely nice to get it. There were some players on the bench with some local ties for Orlando. I was hoping they would have gotten to the game. Cam Reddish is in there for Orlando on the roster on their Summer League, the Zion recruiting class at Duke. And then also there's Trey Holloman, who played last year at NC State on the bench for Orlando. Neither of those guys got in the game. I was hoping to see it. Didn't happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
The Scottish Open is going on as we speak. This is PGA Tour Golf. Also, DP Tour Golf, also Euro Tour. This is one that counts on every tour. As far as local guys go, the local guys apparently not exactly links golf aficionados. Alex Smalley, Alex Fitzpatrick. These are guys that played their college golf here in the state of North Carolina. Smalley at Duke, Fitzpatrick at Wake. They both were cut. Max Gracerman, Michael Brennan, a couple of guys that played here locally, Duke and Wake as well. They are above the cut line, made the cut, but tied 49th. Ryan Gerard is the leader amongst the local guys. He is tied for 18th. A UNC golfer. So maybe UNC is the one that practices links, or it's just really tough golf to play. Nationally, and this is going to lead to one of my favorite stories that I don't think has been told publicly that often. Scotty Scheffler ended his cut streak. He did not make the cut, which is absurd when you think about how long his cut streak has been rolling. Wait, here we go. To put it in perspective for you, the last time, and this is going to mix in some tennis, the last time Scotty Scheffler missed a cut, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz had a combined 0 Grand Slams. They have 11 now. That's insane.
I think there's only been 16 since then, opportunities.
It's both impressive for them winning a lot and impressive for Scotty going a long time without missing a cut.
Yeah, almost a full 4 years.
It is the 5th longest streak. 78 consecutive made cuts is the 5th longest streak in PGA Tour history. I now get to tell you one of my favorite stories about the longest cut streak in PGA Tour history. So the longest, many of you know, it's Tiger Woods. He won 142 consecutive tournaments. So the 5th longest is 78. His is 142. It ended at the Byron Nelson in 2005. For another project a while ago, I was interviewing a golfer on PGA Tour named Charles Warren. Just a journeyman, played in a handful of tournaments in the PGA. But he was paired with Tiger a few tournaments before the Byron Nelson. Just talked with him occasionally, did not become friends or anything. But he felt comfortable enough to ask Tiger to sign a flag, right? So he had a flag. He was like, I'm going to have Tiger sign it. It was for a friend or a charity or something. I forget why. and he was a little nervous about it. So what he did was he missed the cut at the Byron Nelson, meaning Charles did, but he was in the morning flight, and Tiger was in the afternoon flight. So he just left it in Tiger's locker with a note, hey, it's Charles. I would appreciate if you could sign this. Just leave it around here. I'll come and get it. And then he went back to his hotel, and he was watching the rest of the round. And Tiger bogeyed, 2 of his last 6 to miss the cut, and it ended the longest cut streak in PGA Tour history by one of the most competitive people in the history of golf. And he's watching it, and all he can think, Charles Warren, is he's going to come back to the locker and see me asking for a dumb autograph, left the flag, and he's going to want to punch the wall, and he's just going to see my dumb name. So he, at the hotel, runs down, tracks down a cab, booking it back. He's going to go, grab the flag, and I'll do it some other tournament. And by the time he got to the locker room, Tiger had everything packed up, and it left there nicely, signed, personalized, Tiger Woods to Charles, whatever it said. So Tiger was, for all his flaws, he was nice in that moment, even after ending 142 consecutive cuts. If that was a story about Scotty Scheffler after today, it would make a lot of sense. He seems like that's just the way it was kind of guy. Tiger in 05, not exactly the same vibe. That is the Big 3 at 3, presented by Maynor Service Company. Check them out, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. When we come back, we get the tinfoil hats out. Conspiracy theory time. How is ESPN, allegedly, rigging college football? Stick around.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize, or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
You could argue that making jewelry by hand is yesterday's way of doing it. You could claim that being particular about custom design and old-world craftsmanship slows down the process. You could call us old-fashioned, and you'd be right. Because the heart and soul of Bailey's is our workshop, where skilled craftsmen create heirlooms meant to last for generations. Come see why we've been voted the best jeweler year after year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons with Chapel Hill Tire. You didn't switch to an electric vehicle for average, so why settle for average tires? Electric vehicles are heavier, faster off the line, and demand more from the road. At Chapel Hill Tire, we carry premium EV-ready tires. And right now, we are offering free installation on a complete set of Michelin, Pirelli, or Continental tires. That's a $120 value. With 13 Triangle area locations, we make purchasing tires easy and convenient. Book your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Building a community there. We want you to be a part of it. We put polls up. We ask questions. Even if you're just commenting on things, if it's a great comment, we'll grab it, bring it on air. We do that often with Feedback Frenzy. Sometimes we'll build a whole conversation around it. So jump in those comments, live stream.
Subscribe.
The videos we post.
Definitely subscribe.
And subscribe.
We're like 1,300 subscribers away from 25,000.
And we like big round numbers. We like goals. Chasing them down. So do the Ponzi scheme thing or the multi-level marketing thing, right? Everyone out there, even if you're already subscribed, if we're all responsible for grabbing 3 more people and having them subscribe, and they get 3 more people, and they get 3 more people, technically it's limitless. We can have infinity subscribers. So please do it. Greatly appreciate it. Now let's get to some conspiracy theories, shall we? Here's the issue, everybody. It is not always completely devoid of conflicts of interest when it comes to college football and the people that cover it. Now, this is a little like, yay, I'll raise my hand. I try to put my biases on Front Street. That's always what I call it, right? I am an ACC homer. I am a teams in the state of North Carolina homer. I am a triangle homer. Okay? Not everybody is that open with it. So ESPN revealed their initial, it's not their very first ever, it's their very first this year, college football top 25 based on their Football Power Index, a.k.a. the FPI. Now, the FPI index, the Football Power Index, in case you didn't know, is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI results to date and the remaining schedule. Projections are updated daily. FPI data from seasons prior to 2019 may not be complete. That's what it says. That's how ESPN explains it. The top 25 has 12 teams from the SEC. Their first FPI this year has 12 teams from the SEC. They have 7 from the Big Ten. They have 3 from the ACC. Notre Dame is in there. Here's why the conspiracy theories have come out. Florida's in there. They were not very good last year. South Carolina's in there. They were not very good last year. Teams appear to be getting a conference boost. Or actually, I don't even want to say that because actually I think Clemson is getting similarly. They appear to be getting a name recognition boost. Penn State is in there at 17. Florida at 18. Clemson at 19. Meanwhile, teams like Utah aren't in there at all, despite the fact that they're returning almost everybody and finished in the top 25 last year.
Ohio State and Texas are 1 and 2. They just happen to be playing in prime time in week 2.
True. Which
not that those teams won't be good, but
I don't have as big of an issue with that because, like you said, once you establish teams top 5, the order, who cares? The reason why I bring up that there's 12 teams in the top 25 is because this starts everything higher in the SEC. Losses aren't as bad because they're in the top 25. Wins are incredible because you beat someone in the top 25. You're no longer hurt for losses as much as everyone else will be, and you don't gain as much from wins. You gain more for wins than everybody else. It is very, very similar to what I used to accuse. It was more blatant 3-4 years ago, but what I used to accuse the Big 12 basketball of doing. Because what they would do to game the net rankings is they would schedule no one in the non-conference. They would all run. They'd have 40-point wins against everybody. So by the time they got to conference play, every loss was to a team that's undefeated and averaging a 30-point victory. And every win was over a team that was undefeated and averaging a 30-point victory. So their net rankings just kept kind of building off of each other. Were they actually better? No. Were they actually as good as their record shows? No. So now what happens is, say Clemson loses to, name a team in the ACC.
Georgia Tech.
Loses to Georgia Tech. They get smoked by it, right? They're donezo because everyone's like, they weren't even close to the top 25. Meanwhile, say Texas loses to South Carolina, a team who was not better than Georgia Tech last year.
Georgia Tech was pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. And both have a little bit of turnover. Sure, South Carolina might bring their quarterback back, but their quarterback was on the team that wasn't very good last year. But, they lost to a top 25 team, right? South Carolina's 23rd. That's not that bad for Texas.
It's like the quality loss gimmick.
It is. It's the quality loss gimmick, only you get to choose which ones are quality losses before anyone ever plays. Because if you actually lose to like the 17th best team in the country, it shouldn't be that bad. But when you look at it and go, it seems like you're just picking who's the 17th best team in the country, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because now at the end of the year, based on you just deciding at the beginning of the year, there's going to be more SEC teams seen as very, very good teams. And then you're going to go, we were right when we put them at the top, when the only reason they seem like they're good at the end is because you put them at the top. This will never happen because media is about these types of arguments and conversations. It will never happen. Rankings should be outlawed till week 6. You should have to go play 5 games. And we should mandate non-conference schedules, meaning you have to play X amount of power conference opponents, X amount of like everyone should be playing the same levels. You shouldn't be able to stack mid-majors or stack group of 5 and FCS teams and then be like, we're 5-0 and be at the top of the list. It should be all much more regimented.
The group of 5 teams or whatever it is now, group of, non-power schools, they would not prefer that, obviously, though, because then they would get less competition, they would get fewer bye games, and they would get less money.
Not if we mandated...
If you mandated you had to play at least one, I guess it would make sense.
You absolutely would have to play at least one. It's just everybody needs to play the same. The issue with any ranking in college football, the issue with this is there's so many teams that there's not like in the NFL it's easy, and in the NBA it's easy. Within conferences it should be easy because you have enough common opponents and you play each other. The hard part is when you have teams that play a different level of schedule by choice and by happenstance, right? When you choose to play less power conference opponents, you choose to play more cupcakes, somebody else plays more tough games. And you don't have any common opponents or very few, how do you judge? So we should, meaning the NCAA or whatever powers that be, the Super League, should step in and say, everybody plays 9 conference games, or 10, I don't care. Everybody plays 1 or 2, I don't care. Power conference, non-conference games. Everybody plays 1 group of 5 game. Everybody plays 1 FCS game. And that is the structure that everyone plays. So we have a better idea of how good you are. And we don't have to depend on, at the beginning of the year, ESPN or the AP or media at the media days decided who was a good team. And now we just start there. Right, because the other thing is, if you're a top 5 team, you can lose twice being the top 25. If you are the 19th team, you can probably lose once being the top 25. Despite the fact that you did almost nothing different. Right? When it comes to an opinion, when it comes to a poll, when it comes to an index, the difference between the 5th best team in the country and the 18th best team in the country is tiny, right? Because it's all projections anyway, and there's margin of error within there. But if you're the 5th best, you lose twice, you're 23rd. If you're 18th best, you lose once, you're out of the top 25 likely. Setting the table with these preseason polls is an issue, and then you throw in the fact like, well, why are there a bunch of SEC teams that weren't very good last year and don't appear to have, the number 1 recruiting class in the country that are getting vaulted up? And why are these other conferences, and I'm not even just championing the ACC here. I'd be most mad if I were the Big 12. Why are those not getting the same love? Well, that's where the conspiracy theories come in, and you start talking about start talking about who are they in bed with media rights and everything else. We need a czar. That was the old Coach K thing, right? You just need a czar. You need a president. You need somebody over everything that can answer for each sport individually rather than like just the NCAA head. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi. The FIFA World Cup is entering its biggest matches, and there's no better place to be than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction platform. But I'll give you another one. Golf fiends out there. Sure, you can talk about the event going on over there, over the seas in Scotland. You could also talk about the celebrities. In Lake Tahoe, there's a gigantic celebrity golf event, and what do you know? Tony Romo Steph Curry, the two trading at the highest percentage to win the whole darn thing, 24 and 25%. Steph being the higher of the two at 25%, which would mean if you want to go trade $100 on the greatest shooter of all time to win the celebrity golf event, it would pay out just under $270. That's how it works. You can find almost anything to trade on Kalshi. That includes the FIFA World Cup as well. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position, which means if you're on Tony Romo in the trade and he birdies and then he birdies and his percentage goes way up, you could trade right out right then. You don't got to wait all the way to the end. Just wait for that probability to boost, grab your profit, and trade out. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, that's TIMD, to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem, call 877-718-5543. Visit morethanagame.nc.gov. We'll be back with the Dean's List here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I promised you at the beginning of the show, for the World Cup fiends out there, that we would keep you updated on the Spain-Belgium game as it is going on. What can you give us, Max?
Spain has just gone up 1-0.
Fabian Ruiz?
Yes, in the 30th minute, I believe, with a nice rebound goal.
All right, so Spain with a 1-0. Yeah, you like that? You like that soccer lingo? 1-0 lead over Belgium. If United States men's national team fans, Belgium is the team that eliminated the United States, so there's 2 ways to look at it. Maybe you want revenge and you want Spain to go kick them around the pitch, but also you might want to say, like, well, actually Belgium was much better than anybody thought. So if they get a big surprise win, maybe that would make the loss for the United States a little less stinging.
I don't know if I've seen them with the ball anytime I've looked up at this game.
Okay, well that's not a good look.
Spain also hasn't given up a goal the entire tournament, so.
The little momentum meter on ESPN.com has literally nothing for Belgium. So, cards stacked against them, but it's just 1-0. 1 goal, 1 strike changes everything. We'll see how it goes, and we'll keep you updated. In the meantime, here on The Drive, let's get into one of our favorite shows, or favorite games, favorite parts. Let's called the Dean's List. Dean's List, where we highlight those in the college sports world that deserve a little extra love. Well, how about this? Since I mentioned it during one of our ad reads, I'm putting Davidson's Steph Curry on there. Trading is the highest percentage to win the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe, the premier celebrity golf event on the entire calendar. Not only is Davidson's Steph Curry, I'm sure that's how he gets announced often, Davidson's Steph Curry. Not only is he in the field, as is Duke's Jay Billis, as is Duke's Seth Curry, as is North Carolina's Vince Carter. They are all in the field. So there's a few local college connections out there in the premier celebrity golf event on the calendar. Also, Charles Barkley, who opened as the betting longest shot. Has nothing to do with our local college area. Just thought I'd mention it.
He's not playing too bad. -2 points right now, but far from last place.
All right. Way to go, Chuck. Chuck's having himself a week. Apparently, he turned down the Kelsey Swift wedding. How do you like that? Got the invitation, said thanks, no thanks. I just want to play golf and hang out. More Dean's List. How about Jacoby Brissett, former NC State quarterback? Getting a little support from his teammates. He is obviously a member of the Arizona Cardinals now, but he's in a bit of a contract standoff. They've told him he's going to be the starter. Definitely aren't paying him NFL starting quarterback money. So he was not at all of the volunteer portions of the offseason. He did show up to the mandatory minicamp last month, but he didn't participate in any practice. He was just there to not get fined. He did post a picture on social media showing himself and pretty much everyone of note from the Arizona offense down in South Florida working out to prepare for training camp. So the teammates are showing up for him, even if the dollars from the team might not be showing up for him. And that's just a good feeling, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Elijah Higgins, the whole group was down in South Florida with him. So nice little support from your teammates. I just think that would feel good if you were in a contract standoff. Do you have any Dean's Listers, Max, you'd like to throw in here?
Not really.
All right. I'm putting UNC basketball assistant coaches. Yesterday, there was some revealing of salaries. I can give you some numbers for this one. Obviously, Michael Malone, head coach, he's getting paid handsomely, right? He's former NBA champion coach. He is amongst the highest paid coaches, head coaches, in college basketball. Chuck Martin, one of his assistants who was at Arkansas last year, making a cool $500,000 this year, $500,000. Pat Sullivan, UNC former player, and he's been an assistant under Hubert Davis for UNC the past few years. $390K. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Brian Tabaldi, an assistant coach at Providence last season, is making $365K, that is. Sean May, I think everyone remembers him from his playing days, but also been an assistant coach under Hubert Davis in recent years. Just under $350,000. And then Brandon Robinson, a former UNC player who coached the Salt Lake Stars of the NBA's G League last season, is making $125K. The two that I specifically want to put on the Dean's List here are Pat Sullivan and Sean May, because they were on the staff last year. The staff that obviously, I would say, didn't live up to expectations, I guess, because, Hubert Davis was relieved of his duties. Sean May was making $312,000 last year. Now is making, we'll round it to $345,000. Pat Sullivan was making $370K roughly. He's up now just barely over $390,000. You're getting raises. It's a good move, right? Credit the agent, whoever's doing the negotiation, getting the raises while last year wasn't the best. In years past, I'd say, yeah, give them all the raises they want. But it's good to see getting that money raised. Good for all of them. Get your money while you can. And then finally, last Dean's List here. Speaking of college basketball, I'm putting Mike Boynton. He is the brand new Michigan head basketball coach. And the reason why I'm putting Mike Boynton on here is sometimes things that are out of your control end up benefiting you in a big way. Boynton was named or has agreed to a 2-year contract to be the head coach at Michigan as of today, the school announced. He had been named the interim head coach. Dusty May, who just won a national championship with Michigan, left at a really weird time on the calendar to go be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, which meant Michigan really had no choice but to promote from within and give somebody like Boynton a chance. I don't know this for sure, but I think if Dusty May leaves at a more normal time rather than the kind of the last possible minute, I don't think Boynton gets the job. But because Dusty May did the whole will he, won't he leave thing, stuck around, got commitments, transfer portal dollars spent, and then bounced to Dallas, to the NBA, Boynton now gets to prove himself, right? He gets the chance that everybody wants. He's at a premier program, very, very deep pockets program, coming off a national championship, returning a bunch of players from the national championship, including former Carolina point guard Elliot Cadeau, who was, I believe, the MOP. And Boynton gets that opportunity despite the fact that, he probably wouldn't have if Michigan was able to comb the entire country. Better to be a little lucky than good there, I guess. Now he's got to go make good on it and play well and coach well, but that's any time you take over, right? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. As always, if you have some Dean's List members, some people in the college sports world you think deserve a little extra praise, you can go ahead and send those right to our YouTube live stream chat, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. Or you can send them directly to me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports, Donnelly Sports. If your favorite college wasn't mentioned and they did something awesome, it wasn't intentional, but you can do your part in getting it recognized by sending it in to us. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will be back. The Athletic gave out free agency grades for the NHL. Every team got a grade over the last, 2 weeks now of free agency. What do you think the Carolina Hurricanes received? I'll tell you next.
Congratulations to the 2026 Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes. Brought to you by TimberTech Decking and Railing. TimberTech is as resilient as the team was all season. It is built to last through whatever the Carolina climate throws at it. You get the beauty of wood without sanding, staining, or splinters. And it's backed by industry-leading warranties, so your deck will last year after year after year. Order free samples or connect with a contractor at TimberTech.com.
Plenty of companies will sell you a new roof. Fewer will tell you if you actually need one. Since 1915, people across the Carolinas have trusted the Baker name to do right by their homes. Baker Home Exteriors now does roofing, siding, windows, and doors, and always honest advice. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's earned it for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Hey man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. They got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durham Road. Open 7 days a week.
Progressive presents Perfectly Bad Excuses for Missing Stuff to Spend More Time on Your Motorcycle.
Hey, Tom. Gonna miss the 5K. Gotta organize my vitamins. A, B, C. There's so many. D.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I appreciate the way that Spain and Belgium are handling this World Cup game. I promised that we're going to keep you updated, and they just politely wait until the commercial, so they score, and then when we come back, we update you with it. It's now happened twice in the first 40 minutes of the show.
I didn't get a great look, but it might be offside.
Ooh, perhaps not.
I feel
then.
like this one might go to the VAR.
Perhaps not then. But it was a Belgium goal that is perhaps being looked at. If it stands, it would make it 1-1 with just a few minutes to go before half.
Yes, great header finish, too, if it is onside, which I think it might be because they don't seem to be
Charles
too concerned.
Day.
Yep, no, it will count.
Ketelaere. Apologize if I mispronounced that. So 1-1, Spain, Belgium.
First goal conceded by Spain all tournament.
It was in the 41st minute, so very, very near halftime. I've referenced this once already, but the momentum meter that's on ESPN for monitoring the game, it is literally all Spain, all Spain, all Spain, and for the goal, it just at one point in the game goes all the way down to Belgium, and that's it. But that's kind of the beauty of these sports where not a ton of goals are scored, or whatever the runs or whatever they call it in each sport. It is all. It could change. As long as you can weather the storm, you only need the one strike. So Belgium and Spain tied in the quarterfinals of the World Cup and nearing halftime there. Before we jump into a little grades for the Carolina Hurricanes, meaning their free agency grades from The Athletic, you can be a winner. Is that what we want to do here, Max? All right, that is what we want to do here. Text keyword music, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326, keyword music, for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Train with Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. Just the keyword. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to say, hey, I love Train, I'd like the tickets. Just say music, MUSIC, to 919-860-5326. Does your old soul music taste, does that apply to Train? Are you a big Train fan?
Train's fine. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm bumping them frequently, but they have a couple solid songs. I might know that song. It sounds somewhat familiar.
Drops of Jupiter.
Oh, I know that one.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. No, I mean, if you listen to the show, you know that there's a pantheon of artists for Max. Michael McDonald's at the top. Train not on the
not on the Mount Rushmore.
Not near Michael McDonald. All right, let's get I don't know why. I find it very amusing, your musical taste. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So here's the deal, everybody. The free agency in the NHL, it's been an eventful one, although it's been more eventful in like rumors than it has been in actual movement. Even something like the we talked about it yesterday, the Leo Carlsson offer sheet. It was signed by Philly. It was discussed for a week, and then Anaheim matched. So basically, the only thing that changed is Leo Carlsson's his tax bracket, right? He's just a higher paid guy now, but everything else, we're kind of right back where we started. And the Canes, on a much smaller scale, right, traded for John Carlson's rights as a free agent to negotiate with him before free agency opened up. It felt like something. We talked about it for a couple days. Free agency opens up. He signed with Tampa. So there's been some movement, don't get me wrong, across the league. There just hasn't been anything gigantic. So I thought it was interesting when I was reading on the internet today, as you do, that The Athletic was putting out every team free agency grades. Because for the most part, I was like, I don't know, it feels like giving midterms like the second day of school. Like there's you were present? Like you were there and did you participate once? Cool, you're good. Like there's not a lot to grade, which is why I click on it and I immediately do the little, Control F search, Carolina, and I saw a C. A C. Now C's get degrees, but C's don't get you championships, right? So whoa. And then I started reading. Wasn't much to do on a championship team that had nearly all its players signed for next season. Took a run at signing John Carlsson. We talked about it. He signed in Tampa. Carolina still has cap space and a willingness to improve, but it may be more likely to do that via trade than what's left on the free agency market. And then they also saw the end of Freddie Anderson's tenure with the club after he signed a one-year deal with Edmonton. How in the world is that a C? And the reason being, what have they done wrong? That's what I want to know, because a C implies you've gotten something wrong, or you didn't answer a question or something. Like a C, just in pure, my mom was a teacher move. Like that's a 70 to 79.9. You know what I mean? Like that is a you've got some questions wrong. What have they done incorrect? Are they implying that they should have kept Freddie? Because when Freddie signed with Edmonton, nobody was up in arms about that one. Matter of fact, I would say multiple times throughout the year, fans would have been pretty upset if they brought Freddie back. We've all kind of wrapped our heads around, hopefully he can be a part of a cup team, but this is the last run he has with Carolina, and especially when Bussy played the way he played at the end of the Stanley Cup final, the writing was on the wall. Are they implying that they should have done whatever it took to sign John Carlson after the trade? Because, there's a lot of questions about what that lineup would have done, what you would have had to do elsewhere, who would have moved if you added John Carlson to this team. And on top of that, he's a lot older than I think you'd want to be adding to a team that has a lot of building blocks in place for a very long time. Was there some big fish that got away? Because if you're feeling unsatisfied by what the Carolina Hurricanes have done, it's not because of free agency. It's because of potentially a trade that you think should happen or has been talked about. And that, obviously the Nikishin bit, maybe you fell in love with them adding Connor Hellebuck. Maybe you, like I think we all did, let our imaginations run wild with us for a day or two about Zach Werenski. Maybe. But none of that would apply to a free agency. Like, to me, the Carolina Hurricanes, if you're talking grades, and obviously when you're talking grades, it's all school metaphors. To me, I'll tell you exactly the student that the Carolina Hurricanes are. They are a student that is going into, if free agency is like the final exam, the teacher does the math and says, like, you could get a 47 on this, and you're going to have a A+. Like, they've already done all the work, right? Your grade is so high. You've done all your extra credit. You're coming off of perfect scores in the midterms and the pop quizzes, and you could skip the final and you're going to have like a 96. So how in the heck are you giving that, like, oh, they got a C on the final? It's like, well, yeah, you told them they didn't even have to take it. There's nothing to be done here. The roster is darn near complete, aside from if they want to swing for the fences to improve in a trade. What free agency to-do list is undone for the Carolina Hurricanes? Or perhaps, I guess we should entertain this, maybe others look at a C much more positively than I do. And you're just like, nah, C, sweet. That's great. I'm not saying I was a great student, but I'm saying if my roster looked like the Carolina Hurricanes and I got a C, I'd be pretty furious. I'd be going to the teacher going like, no, I actually did well on this one. A lot of my C's I earned. This one, I need this to boost my grade. By the way, you have to do the opportunity cost when you're talking free agency. Like, they still have the cap space and a willingness to improve. If they would have gone out and used free agency dollars, they would likely not have that. And right now, that is worth its weight in gold. Right? That cap space is could be anything at this point. The moment you spend it, you know what it is, if that makes any sense. If I got $20 in my pocket and I'm walking through a convenience store, it could be anything. The moment I buy a bag of chips, it's a bag of chips. So the Carolina Hurricanes, they might need something. You know what I mean? There might be an injury. There might be a disgruntled player. There might be some kind of new development, and they're going to love having cap space if that happens. But what if they get a forward and then they, due to injury or whatever reason, need a defenseman? Now they don't have that flexibility. I think one of the most important parts of their free agency, unless they are swinging for the fences and doing something to really up their ceiling, I think one of the most important parts in free agency right now is keeping their flexibility.
Yeah, and Paul Ihander and I discussed this morning on Next Up. It's also important to remember that they have 5 pending free agents for next season, and they're all pretty key contributors in Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, Shane Gostisbehere, Jalen Chatfield, and Pyotr Kochetkov. it seems pretty likely that at least one of those players will not be back next season. At least one, and maybe more. Who knows if Jordan Staal is going to keep playing? Who knows if some of those guys can explore the open market? I know in particular, Gostisbehere and Chatfield being defensemen, and Gostisbehere being a really offensively gifted guy, and Chatfield just by virtue of being a good right-handed defenseman. Both those guys can fetch a lot of money on the open market. They could be going elsewhere. So going into not this coming season, but the 2027-28 season, so the next off season, 2027, I think the Canes are going to want to maintain that flexibility, and the cap's going to be going up still as well, so there's going to be additional cap space there. I think they're kind of priming themselves to be a little bit more active next off season, whereas this year you've got your cup-winning roster. You don't have to make a ton of changes. We'll see how this Nikishin thing resolves itself, whether he's coming back or whether that ends up being a trade, but I think Tulsky and the crew there is happy to go into this season with pretty much the same roster. If they can find an upgrade here or there, that'd be good, but they want to gear up because there's going to be a bunch of free agents next year. There's going to be roster spots turning over, which is really the important thing because they don't necessarily have a need right now. You mentioned like injuries can happen or things can change.
Anything can happen, yeah.
But as it stands, you know what you have in this roster. It's a really good team. 113 points last year, Stanley Cup champions. You don't need to push the envelope right now, but you know you're going to have to make changes in the next year, so you don't want to hamstring yourself by making a move too early.
By the way, when I said disgruntled player, I didn't mean a Carolina Hurricane could happen. Like, a disgruntled player could happen. I'm talking about elsewhere. There could be a player who suddenly becomes disgruntled with their team who's really, really good, and suddenly now that team is like, I guess we got to make him available. You don't want to be like, oh, we just gave all that cap space to a B- player. Now an A+ player is available and we don't have it anymore. That flexibility is key. I just saw this same theory with the in college basketball right now. The 5-for-5 stuff is passing, and which means 5 years. You have 5 years to use 5 seasons of eligibility, and there's going to be lawsuits, and basically a ton of guys who thought their eligibility was up last year, they're going to be available. The courts are going to make it happen. I saw it might already be started in Ohio with a lawsuit that judges are ruling on now. And do you know who's going to be benefiting from that? Whoever did not spend every single dollar of their NIL budget. Because if you have a million laying around, you're going to be able to just go picking and shopping for whoever you want. And that's just, keeping a little bit of flexibility because he didn't have to spend it. Now, it's not apples to apples, but if there's something that makes someone unexpectedly available in the future, the Canes are going to be A-okay.
You know who's available right now, and I kind of whispered his name there, and Dylan Larkin, but if I
Was that over the air? I couldn't tell if you were doing
that.
No, that
wasn't
just
a talkback. I did say that.
I was like, is he telling me to go with Dylan Larkin here?
Kind of like a armchair GM, like fantasy kind of thing here for me, like the way that I could see it playing out, that would make a lot of sense. Some kind of Nikishin, Dylan Larkin trade where the Nikishin and maybe a couple of draft picks or prospects for Dylan Larkin, who's signed, I think, at $8 million for like 5 more years, which is like a very reasonable contract these days in the NHL. They slot Joel Nyström into that third pairing right defense slot. He's already signed for the next 4 years at like 1.2, which is a great contract.
A very Eric Tulsky deal.
Sets them up well. Again, allows them for a lot of flexibility. And then when you get further on into next offseason, then they prioritize maybe adding a couple pieces, and I think like a top right-handed defenseman would be on top of that list. Kind of like what they were aiming to do with John Carlson, but they weren't able to get done in that manner. Maybe next offseason they go and try to get that kind of big fish right-handed D, because, again, everything else in the lineup is pretty set for a couple of seasons. So I could see things playing out that way and would, again, be a really strong roster.
And if you predict that correctly, go buy a lotto ticket. But the point is, there's a lot of situations like that could happen that we can't foresee. So I give the Canes a much better grade than a C for just being disciplined enough to not go out and spend just because you got the money in your pocket. They have some self-control, and that could end up paying dividends in the future. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. You still got a Stanley Cup winning roster coming back almost fully intact. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Up next, football at 4. On this show, we talk pigskin at 4 o'clock, and we'll do so next.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Ahead of a cold front, it's very hot this afternoon. Plus, we'll have a chance for some scattered showers and storms through this evening. Some could bring some damaging wind gusts, but it won't be a washout. We'll see more scattered storms this weekend. Highs cool into the mid to upper 80s by Sunday.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 155 points today to 52,643.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. Ben Solak of ESPN looked at every single NFL lineup. 32 of them. And he chose a breakout player on each. He even made the little joke that he said, like, oh, how convenient that there's one breakout player on each team. That's so 32 exactly and dispersed perfectly. It was an exercise, obviously, where he had to choose one for each team. I thought the name that he chose for the Carolina Panthers was interesting because there's some obvious ones, right? Jalen Coker, who's been really good, and volume would be the reason for the breakout. Obviously, high draft picks are obvious. You could even say Tedero McMillan might be an obvious one. Offensive Rookie of the Year, maybe broke out last year, but could level up. He chose Nic Scourton, edge rusher. Nic Scourton, second-round pick. Nic Scourton, one of the youngest players in the draft a season ago. I'll read some of the explanation. The best pass rusher on the Panthers last season was Scourton, a 21-year-old rookie. Of course, being the Panthers' best pass rusher wasn't much to write home about. Scourton's pressure rate was 9.2%, well below the league average for starting edge rushers of 12.6%. But he was always considered more of a developmental pick given his youth-long transition out of Texas A&M's defense and into a more attacking role with the pros. I think this is this is a good pick. I'm not knocking Ben. Sometimes I bring on other people's opinions to argue with them. I'm not arguing with the opinion, but I think it's a more context pick than it is a Nic Scourton pick. And I like Nic Scourton. I think he is going to be a much better football player when you look at film than a football player that when you look at raw stats or the things that get you Pro Bowls and all pros, right? I don't know if he's ever going to be a big-time sack guy, pressure guy, quarterback knockdown guy, but I think he's going to be a player that's pretty good against the run, pretty good against the pass, pretty dependable, like just a good guy to have on your roster and will likely be a player that sticks around in the NFL for a very, very long time, especially based on his age. So why, having heard everything I just said, would I be in on him as a breakout? Well, this is where we start building off of a lot of our observations throughout the offseason. What was the biggest story of free agency for the Carolina Panthers? They added 2 dudes to their front 7. Jalen Phillips on the edge, Devin Lloyd is an off-ball backer. Jalen Phillips being the highest-paid free agent in the entire NFL that signed this offseason. And we talked about the impact he would have and how he would make everyone's job easier. And we talked about Devin Lloyd and his ability to make gigantic plays in the pass coverage game. Had a 99-yard interception return for a touchdown last year. Had a whole bunch of interceptions, fumble recoveries. The dude gets his hands on the ball and can fly around and has some 100-plus, 120-plus tackle seasons. So that was the story of the offseason for a while. Let's build off of it. What has been the story this week? It's been all these anonymous polls, right? All of these anonymous surveys that are coming out from executives, front office members, scouts, coaches, and the one yesterday that had Derek Brown as a top 5 defensive tackle in the NFL. And right here, right about this time yesterday, I talked about how the best thing a defensive tackle does is make everyone else's job easier, right? When you have the best defensive tackle or one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, it's a multiplier position, right? They eat up more blockers, which makes everyone else's job easier. They stop the run, which allows everyone else to focus a little bit more, lean a little bit more of their attention towards the flashy plays, taking chances, going after sacks and turnovers. So if we add all that up, I think the correct answer for who could be a breakout player for the Panthers could have been almost nameless and faceless. Whoever is the edge rusher that spends the most time opposite of Jalen Phillips. Whoever spends the most time as an edge rusher next to Derek Brown. Whoever spends the most time as an edge rusher in front of Devin Lloyd or with Devin Lloyd outside them. It's very similar to being a third scorer with an elite slasher and an elite shooter in the NBA, and you just get to mosey around and do whatever it is you do best because they're the ones taking all the attention. He is a breakout because of his role. He is a breakout because last year, as a 21-year-old rookie, there's at least a couple of chances that he was one of the first guys circled on the scouting report. And he wasn't ready for that attention. No 21-year-old rookie would be unless you are one of the aliens who, like, normal developmental plot lines don't apply to you. So I will look to Nic Scourton to have a big season, to do significantly better, to maybe surprise us with something like a sack total. But I want to be clear here. I'm not expecting him individually to be a significantly better player because he was already pretty good, and it's going to be a slow burn for a guy that young. But I do think his situation improved greatly. I do think the amount of one-on-ones that he is going to get with the second best tackle or tight end or whoever he's matched up with on the team is going to be dramatically increased. And even that tackle that he's playing with is going to have one eye on Derek Brown on the inside. So it's even better. It does bring us back to the concern for all of these things we've talked about, right? I mentioned about stacking stories. So there was Jalen Phillips in the free agency, Devin Lloyd in the free agency. It's a big story. Talked about it for a long time. It was Derek Brown being one of the top guys in the polls and the surveys. It was J.C. Horn being a top 10 corner in the polls and the surveys. All right, these were the stories of the offseason for the defense on the Panthers. And every time we talked about it, there would be, like we just did, I don't know, what's 6 minutes of the good, the exciting, and then we would wrap it back around to the other side, and the question would be, as long as Ejiro Evero uses them the correct way. Their defensive coordinator. There's been some, and it's not just on him, but when you're the defensive coordinator, especially with an offensive-minded head coach, the success and failures of the defense does oftentimes fall at your feet. There's been some times where I think the personnel has been used a little outside of what their strengths are on defense. There's been some times where he's been reluctant to play young players or new players. Devin Lloyd is a perfect example here, and we've talked about it. He was really good last year for Jacksonville. Really good. All-pro good. He was pretty good. He was above average for the first few years of his career. And the difference was how they used him, right? They started moving him around more. They started putting him on the edge more. They started making him more difficult to predict, and with that came a much, much more productive season. So, and Derek Brown similarly, right? You have to get him into some pass rush situations. He has a 100-tackle season, so he's good against the run. You have to use them appropriately. So, if you're not using Devin Lloyd correctly, if you're not getting him more into the rhythm he was in this past year rather than the previous, which was still good, don't get me wrong, it just wasn't all-pro good, Nic Scourton doesn't get the benefit of playing around him. If Derek Brown isn't in a quarterback's head, if Jalen Phillips, who is another unique player, he's like a pocket collapser almost as much as he is a speed rusher or a move, like hand move rusher. If you're not able to take advantage of all of that, then you just have really talented guys that will not be multipliers, that will not get Nic Scourton to a breakout year. So I'm really excited for what this defense could be based on all of the things we've talked about this offseason, but all of that falls down to if they're used correctly. If those other guys are used correctly, Nic Scourton breakout is darn near guaranteed. If they're not used correctly, a Nic Scourton breakout might be darn near impossible. And yes, he's 22 years old, so he might wake up some days and just have bad days. That's what I keep telling myself, and more specifically college. When I gamble on college and I lose a game that I feel like I should win, I go you know what, that 19-year-old may have just woken up and had a bad 19-year-old day, and I'm gonna have to live with that one.
Yeah. Look, if he can step up and with the combination of adding Jalen Phillips, and I know that the scheme with Evero maybe doesn't always
have to get him into the positions he thrives in, and the way he's called the defense in the past hasn't necessarily been the things that you would think work with those guys. They're obviously versatile enough. It'll be a compromise, right? Yeah. They're going to have to come back a little towards Evero. Evero's going to have to go a lot of way towards them.
It's not necessarily the most conducive scheme to pass rush, but that's been a weak point, and I don't know if it's personnel or a little bit of the scheme or both, but look, they've got a little bit more personnel. You've got a second-year Nic Scourton. You've got a Jalen Phillips. You've got Derek Brown providing whatever he can from the D tackle position in terms of pressure. I think we talked about it when we were talking about Derek Brown yesterday. Like the double teams that he is taking on, that can create more opportunities for you to get some pressure. Like that's the one thing that you can see from watching the Panthers, especially the last couple of years. It's just quarterbacks have all day standing back there to make plays. Matt Stafford had enough time on that last drive to just pick apart the Panthers defense in the playoff game and put them to bed.
I think that was a fatigue thing as well. That defense was put in some really tough situations.
And they had largely played a pretty solid game as well. But maybe Nic Scourton can step up. Maybe Princely Emmanuel can find a little bit of a role and provide some pressure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's whoever is opposite of Jalen Phillips is the one that I expect to break out. I think Nic Scourton was best last year. I think he'll get the first opportunity. But if Princely Emmanuel goes in, right, just as a rotational guy and gets a sack, and you're like, all right, let's see what he does and give him a little bit more, it's whoever's opposite of Jalen Phillips. And then those other guys wouldn't be breakouts. Like you need good seasons from the guys we've been talking about, but stars having good seasons, that's not a breakout. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and shout out to Ben Solak just because we were talking about his article, so check it out on ESPN.com. When we come back, ACC football. We talked about the big stories yesterday. What are going to be the biggest stories of college football? Well, let's work a little harder. What are the hidden stories for ACC football this year? And before we do that, let's dig even further into Kalshi. Tim Donnelly here for Kalshi, where, I want to remind you, the FIFA World Cup is entering its biggest matches. They're already kind of going on, even though the United States isn't in them, which is a bummer. But there's no place that is any better than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. Sure, go check out the FIFA World Cup. Make trades on players, goal scorers, teams, winners, the whole thing. You might also want to check out Kalshi for some celebrity golf this weekend. There's a new trading favorite, 38% to win the biggest celebrity tournament on the calendar out there in Tahoe, which is going on now, and it is Austin Reeves. Newly very rich basketball player, Austin Reeves. He is 38% to win. If you want to bet on the favorite, that means $100 trade, if he does win the whole thing, would pay out over $270. Other names near the top: Steph Curry, Tony Romo, Marty Fish, Matt Boldy, Annika Sorenstam, John Smoltz. A lot of athletes up there near the top. Derek Carr, Larry Fitz, Ray Allen. You could bet on, you could trade on any of them. And remember, when you are making trades on Kalshi, you are not trading against the house. You're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as probabilities change, you can buy in and out of your position at any time. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, T-I-M-D, to get $10 when you trade 10, which means, at any time you can trade in and out of your position. That's not how it works for the TIMD code. There's a limited time there. That will expire on you. So right now, go to the Kalshi app and use code TIMD, T-I-M-D, at sign up to get $10 when you trade 10. K-A-L-S-H-I, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restriction and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543. Visit morethanagame.nc.gov. We'll get some ACC football hidden stories coming up next. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't buy this line that Carolina only won the cup because Florida was too broken to challenge for a third straight title. The Hurricanes were the best team in the league. They were way better than they were the previous year. And I know we can't prove it, but I think Carolina would have beaten Florida if the Panthers were standing in their way. Don't worry what Florida did. Make yourself better.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
When you own your own business, you own every decision. Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with the toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team.
Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, on a Friday. I'm not going to comment on the music choices. They're just so funny. It is a Friday. Hopefully everyone's having a good start to your weekend. Thank you for starting your weekend with us here on The Drive. Yesterday, if you were listening to the show, we did the 5 biggest stories for ACC football as we get things kicked off, literally with ACC kickoff next week. So it's just getting us in the rhythm of paying attention to the stories, the narratives that are going to be the things that we talk about this football season. But I did feel driving home, for those of you that don't know, and this just, peeling the curtain back a little bit, when I drive home or when I'm walking the dog or when I'm doing, I'll often listen back to our show, a little competitive listening, watch the film. And I felt a little lazy because I went, well, anybody can pick the biggest, like, oh, Darian Mensah going to Miami. Like, oh, who would have guessed that the lawsuit that took over college football was going to be a story, right? We all knew that. So I've challenged the show to come up with the hidden storylines, the 5 maybe under-the-radar storylines that will end up being part of the narrative that drives the ACC this year on the football field. Not just the big, flashy, like, hey, I've got a sleeper for you in the first round of your fantasy drafts. Bijan Robinson. Like, that's not fun. That's not exciting. But, hey, I got a fantasy draft pick outside the top 10 rounds that could win you the league. Now you're paying attention. So I'm looking for the sleeper stories, the ones that could win you the league for the ACC this year. Max, do you have a few of these to toss in as well? You got a draft big board of your own, maybe?
Yeah, I got one or two.
So I also kind of went to the same category a little bit of what we did yesterday. So like yesterday, CJ Bailey, can he be a draft riser? Like he's been a sleeper in the draft for a while. What about Jaren Kiave-Sagupolu-Tele from Cal? A guy who, similar to like Nate Shepard at Duke, how in the heck is that guy still at Cal? Unbelievable talent. Comes from Hawaii, obviously with a name like Jaren Kiave-Sagupolu-Tele. It's probably kind of obvious. But he is like top 20, 25 on most Heisman odds. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. I'm not saying go bet on him. But if there's a situation where you might be able to trade on him in a prediction market or something, Kalshi, shout out, where if his odds go up, you can then trade out. That might be a move because I could see him being a top 10 Heisman guy, dark horse Heisman finalist, and playing football for Cal is usually a sleeper place, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like Fernando Mendoza was pretty good at Cal. He went to Indiana. People acted like this guy came out of nowhere, and it's like, well, he was just playing at Cal. That's I guess he came out of nowhere because he came from Cal. But it's another situation where they did a really good job recruiting him. He committed to Oregon, maybe even enrolled at Oregon, and then transferred back to Cal. He had been committed to Cal earlier. It's a whole thing. But they've got something going with Sagupolu-Tele.
They got off to a good start last year. It was to a point where, like, looking ahead at their schedule, I was like, well, they don't really play anybody too tough. Like, they could contend for the ACC, and he started off well, and then obviously that didn't end up materializing. It didn't end up great. They ended up finishing 4-4 in the conference, but he's definitely a really talented player, and with a year of ACC experience under his belt as a starter, you can only imagine he's only going to be better coming in this year, and
we'll see what he can do. Was a true freshman last year. If he wants it with 5 for 5, he could play 4 more years and make a whole bunch of NIL money. But the one thing that I want to see him do, he made a bunch of big throws. He has all the physical tools. I want to see him avoid sacks, and I want to see him use his legs a little bit more. I always look in college, if you have rushing touchdowns, that usually means you're a pretty good runner. If you have not many yards or negative yards, because of the way they calculate it in college, usually means you're taking a lot of sacks. He's a guy that has negative 125 rushing yards, but 4 rushing touchdowns. He's a big dude. I think he can get out there and make a little bit more happen with his legs, which a place like Cal, where you might not have a murderer's row around you, that helps alleviate some of the issues. So that's one under the radar ACC football story. The next, Jake Dickert, year 2 at Wake.
That was one of mine as well.
And it's almost like we jokingly said Gio Lopez going from quarterback, going from UNC last year and transferring to Wake is like an undercard of Darian Mensah going from Duke to Miami. not by quality, but by buzz, year 2 Jake Dickert is like an undercard for Bill Belichick year 2. Jake Dickert was really impressive, and that whole Wake Forest team was really they won 9 games last year. And when Dickert showed up, it was not like, he had the cupboards full and overflowing. He had to go out there and kind of beg, borrow, and steal, and by any means necessary, throw a roster together. He kept Damon Claiborne, obviously, who's now on the Vikings, running back. But I'm fascinated to see what Dickert can put together in year 2 at Wake. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a huge step forward. If they go 9 wins again, you start to look around and go, either A, somebody's going to come and poach Jake Dickert from Wake, or B, he's starting to build something sustainable.
I can tell you without even having to look it up, he would certainly be the first Wake football coach to ever have 9 wins in each of his first 2 seasons.
I mean, is like 100 years ago, maybe, I don't know, but
I doubt it, considering for a really long time they were either the losingest or second losingest team in college football. They were up there with Kansas State, I think it was. But Dave Clawson did a great job. First it was Jim Grobe and then Dave Clawson. And Dave Clawson, it was tough the first 2 years for him. They only won, I think, 3 games in each of those seasons. Now, granted, apparently a lot of their plays were being given out to the other teams. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, but
WikiLeaks, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
It's one of the great names of
and one of the more overlooked scandals as well, because Wake Forest is kind of a smaller program that doesn't get all that buzz. But look, I mean, Jake Dickert in year 1 to win 9 games at Wake Forest is incredibly impressive. The schedule's a little tough this year. They've got to play Miami, I think it is week 3.
Get them.
That is at home, though, so they don't have to at least go to Miami. But they're also playing at Louisville, at Cal, at SMU, at Georgia Tech. And they've got Virginia on the conference schedule as well. So it's a bit of a tough schedule, especially in conference. And they even have a non-con at Purdue as well.
Good.
Not that Purdue's going to be any kind of world beater or anything, but it's tougher than I think last year they started with like Kennesaw State. They won by 1 point.
And I should, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but just wins by 1 point. They should have beat Georgia Tech. There was a really
a bad offsides call in that game.
Horrible offsides call. That I hate bringing up calls and making it the story, but that was one where it was literally like, if you make the right call there, game over, Wake wins. And then the entire ACC season is different. But at that point, that game, I mean, if you would have asked me if they were going to win 5 games, I would have said probably not. They ended up winning 9.
Yeah.
The NC State game prior to that had everything, right? There were kick returns, there were big plays, there were big man touchdowns, there was like a snack stand on fire. There was a whole bunch of weird stuff.
We were getting smoked out.
It was a crazy first month for them, but once they settled in, they were really good.
Their non-con last year: Kennesaw State, Western Carolina, Oregon State, and Delaware. So a little bit of a step up.
I was at the Delaware game.
I don't mean to hate on your Blue Hens there, Tim, but then this year it's Akron, Purdue, Merrimack. Granted, not too tough of a game there, but
relax.
It's a little bit of a tougher schedule, especially in conference.
Anytime, anywhere. You want to talk about, bye games? We'll see Merrimack anytime, anywhere. I actually think we are playing Merrimack this year, so we'll settle it on the field. Next, hidden under the radar ACC football story ahead of ACC kickoff next week. Can Isaac Brown become a top draft pick running back for Louisville? There's a few things that I fall for every single time. And one of them is a running back with just speed for days. Similar to Wake Forest's Damon Claiborne last year. Going into the year, I was just like, he might be the fastest running back in the league. I love this guy. Isaac Brown might be the fastest running back in the league. I love this guy. Dealt with some injuries last year, still had almost 900 yards rushing. Real Analytics, for those of you that don't follow, it's a good follow on Twitter. REEL Analytics. They just do a lot of work with GPS times in games. 21.7 miles per hour last year on the field for Isaac Brown, which is flying. 22.1 miles per hour on the field as a freshman, which is obviously, if 21.7 is flying, 22.1, lights out. Damon Claiborne was like 3 or 4 years ago, had 22.6, and that's the fastest time I've seen clocked by Real Analytics for anyone on the field in college football. So Isaac Brown is right there, and he's probably a bigger, slightly better running back than Claiborne was. So if he puts together a pretty crazy season, I think you could see the NFL draft come calling for a guy like Isaac Brown in a big way. And Louisville's always interesting because they're usually pretty good slinging the rock. If they can get a run game to match with that and that Braum offense and their endless parade of transfer quarterbacks, they might be able to surprise some people and kind of unlock something for a, I don't know, upper middle tier ACC program. Next big story for ACC football that could be under the radar. I think Jonathan Brewer, Duke's offensive coordinator, he might have to start answering questions if this year goes well. Might have started answering questions about other jobs and maybe group of 5 teams coming calling, talking about head coaching and those types of things. I've loved his offense each of the last 2 years. And he fits the stereotype of like the young offensive guru, has some history and some I believe he's got some Texas history, right? And anybody that's spent time in Texas just gets like a 10% boost in reputation when it comes to offensive football. It's like, did you shake hands with Cliff Kingsbury while you were there? 10 more points. It's kind of crazy. But Jonathan Brewer, the thing that I've really liked about him is his ability to adapt. We've talked about their parade of different quarterbacks. They've had different running backs. They've had different receivers. They've brought them in. They've taught them quickly. They've made it into an impactful offense. I imagine there are, I always say that if you're an athletic director, you need to have a Post-it note, a little black book, a little journal that you keep in a locked drawer in your office, and it better have 5 names for every sport that you oversee. And the 5 names are just the coaches you would call if your coach takes another bigger job, if your coach needs to get fired, if there's some kind of scandal that makes it so like your coach that you're happy with and they're happy with you has to be gone by the end of next week. You need to have this journal with their names, the people you're looking at, the people you're going to call, and you should look at it twice a month to update. I think even if he's not the one they're calling, I think Jonathan Brewer's name could be, if their offense is good this year, being added to a lot of those lists of like players or coaches they're watching for potential head coaching jobs. And then lastly, for under the radar ACC football stories ahead of ACC kickoff next year, I'm going with the Georgia Tech transfer backfield. They have 2 of the most fascinating transfers in theirs. They'll be standing next to each other. One of them is the other Mendoza, Alberto Mendoza, who is Fernando's little brother, who was also Fernando Mendoza's backup at Indiana last year. When Fernando Mendoza went to the draft, got drafted number 1 overall. He transferred out of Indiana, went to Georgia Tech. I believe there's still a bit of a competition there. So I'm not naming him the starter because I don't have that power. But that's, a transfer comes out of nowhere, number 1 overall pick. By nowhere, I mean Cal. Now you have his little brother transferring, maybe coming out of nowhere. Does he have the same skill set? A little bit closer to home. And then his backfield mate will be Justice Haynes, the running back, who started his career at Alabama, transferred to Michigan, and now is at Georgia Tech. And if I'm a running back, I actually really like going to Georgia Tech because I would love to go to a place where the head coach is a former offensive line coach. Like, there's going to be pounding of the rock. There's going to be well-executed techniques up front. So those 2 guys next to each other, what are you going to get from them? Justice Haynes has battled some injuries, but obviously is a top 30 recruit in the country. Experience at Alabama, experience at Michigan. Now he's at Georgia Tech, and he could be standing next to last year's Heisman Trophy winner junior. That's a made-for-television backfield. Hidden storylines in the ACC. I don't even know if that's hidden as much as like just no one's recognized it yet, and once they recognize it, it's going to be a big story. Max, anything that I missed that you had on your list?
I don't think it's super hidden either, but I think it'd be crazy if we went 2 days talking about ACC football and didn't mention this. Is Mike Norvell going to still be the coach of Florida State? Is he going to get fired? Are they going to be good? Like, what's the deal down there with Florida State? I don't know whatever is going on down there.
Both days, I've thought about putting Mike Norvell on the hot seat. For yesterday, the biggest stories, the headliner stories, and for today, under the radar stories. And both times what I settled on was it's commonplace, right? Is the sun rising a story of any kind? It's just Mike Norvell on the hot seat has been a thing now for a bit of time. And it's I guess I'm used to it. I think a big story would be, who does Florida State hire next? So if it happens, that would be a big story. But, Mike Norvell's on the hot seat. At this point, he's probably got fans. He's got coolers. He knows, he's like the super duper prepared guy going to the beach on a 95-degree day, right? He's got his wagon. He's got everything he needs. He's got the right sunshade. He's got SPF 50. He's got the sun shirt. He's extra prepared. He knows what to do. But it is something that will be monitored. I just don't know if it's a crazy story, or
it's not a crazy story,
or an under the radar story.
It's a story.
It's just
though.
There. It's I guess it's if we're talking news, if all of this, if we imagine it as a newspaper, it's like the weather, right? You're going to look at it, you're going to check
Mike Norvell, what's the temperature? Oh, we beat Alabama, so it's cool today. Oh, actually they went 5-7 after going 2-10 last year, and he still has his job.
It is news. It's just not breaking news.
That
it's
played
just
out
news.
In the best possible way for him, and what I personally think is the worst way for Florida State, because I think they probably should have fired him already.
Money. The buyout is the issue.
The buyout,
right?
And just the fact that he beat Alabama in that first game, that
smoked him.
Did so much.
Bullied him, I should say, not smoked him. Bullied him.
That did so much for him to keep the job. It was a weird season. They also they blew out Wake Forest too. We were just talking about Wake Forest and how good their first season was, but one of those losses was a absolute blowout at the hands of a Florida State team that finished below 500. It's just Florida State is it's just so random. You don't know. I don't know what we're gonna get from them this year. Are they gonna be good, or is there hype for them coming in, or are they gonna be just mediocre 5-7, 6-6 again? I don't know.
What was it? Tommy Castellanos, their quarterback, was talking trash to Alabama before the season, then went out there and beat them up pretty good. I was like, Florida State might be back. Oh no, because I since they've tried to ruin the ACC a few times, I just don't like them. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna stink. I enjoyed the heck out of that Virginia game, then the Miami game, then every game after that, because they were getting rolled by some not very good teams. But except for that Wake Forest game, which was another weird outlier. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Those are the ACC hidden storylines, and one not so hidden but still interesting storyline ahead of ACC kickoff next week. What are we looking at in the World Cup? How's the Belgium-Spain game going?
It's still 1-1, but the recent development just around the hydration break in the second half is Belgium's had to replace their keeper, Thibaut Courtois. Some kind of leg injury went down, and they have replaced him with the backup keeper, whose name I actually don't know. He just popped up on the screen.
I can tell you it is Sene Lammens.
But Courtois is legendary status, and has been their first team keeper for forever. So have to figure they're probably not thrilled about having to take him out with about 20-25 minutes left in regulation time.
Do you have a Brandon Bussey moment here?
We'll see. We'll see if the backup comes up with a big save. They're showing Courtois right now. He's sipping on a Smart Water on the bench. He doesn't look too bad.
Is this in soccer? Is it actually? Was it a non-contact, or did somebody run into him?
It looked like they were showing some replays of him going to ground, making saves, and maybe he pulled something, or maybe he went down awkwardly making one of the saves. But it wasn't he didn't collide with a Spain player or anything like that. I think it was, so you would consider it non-contact.
In soccer, is it like hockey where the goalie is sacred ground, and if anybody even breathes on them funny, it's a huge controversy?
I think maybe they'd step up for the keeper a little bit more, but ultimately I think he's out there like anybody else. You can't go studs up and spike him.
Now we're talking
like anybody out there.
Oh, I was talking in retribution. I thought this was hockey here, and you're just going to start slew-footing them. I'm kidding. Let's talk since we led into the World Cup there. The score, 1-1, Spain, Belgium, 74th minute. You just heard it. Belgium having to replace their keeper, but they're even with one of, if not the best team in the world. I'm interested in your take on this, Max. United States made it to the round of 16, right? Won a knockout game. But then Belgium kind of bullied them, to use the term I've been using a lot this segment. How do they make sure that doesn't happen again, right? Because everybody right now has every think piece in the world. United States needs to do this. United States needs to rework the youth program. United States needs to pay their coach more. United States needs to be more invested in the Gold Cup. United States needs to If you are, we name you. It's like, hey, czar of USA men's national team, Max Gorin here. What changes are you making to get the United States from what is pretty obviously like a top 20 country in the world when it comes to men's soccer, and get them into that top 10, that top 8 that they've been chasing for a long time?
I'm not qualified for this position at all, but
yeah, you are. I mean, I'm the one that decided it.
There's the ever raging debate online. It's particularly sparking up right now because they just flamed out in the round of 16 again about the cost of youth sports, recreational soccer, competitive soccer, club, getting kids into it. I mean, can we not look at the models of these European nations that have historic success and try to copy some of that stuff? Are we above copying England's academy programs, Germany's academy programs, Spain's academy programs?
I do think, and I don't know if above it is the word, I do think Americans would fight back on, hey, your 6-year-old has shown some ability. We're going to take them and bring them to an academy and make their lives about soccer. And yeah, we'll get to school when we think it's possible.
Then we're not going to compete.
Also, the cost of entry is an issue for just youth sports health. I've had this conversation with a friend of mine who has kids that are older and are in the ages where travel is getting ridiculous, and I mean, you darn near have to like budget into your yearly expenses, just thousands of dollars for sports. And he has an interesting take on it. For the travel events, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit here because, I'm not going to like name names or give you any identifiers to know who it is, because when we were having this conversation, I didn't say like, hey, do you mind if I quote you? But like if you have a really expensive travel ball or a really expensive select team or whatever you want to call them, he sends his kids to the tryouts, but he tells the kids going in, if you make the team, we're not doing it, right? This is for the experience. This is to measure you against the best. We're just going to the tryouts, because his thought is the select teams really want to win, and they need to produce good players in order to charge all of the non-good players a ton of money, right? That's where the rising cost is. So if his kids are good enough to be like, hey, we need to dedicate our lives to it, or we need to really invest, he's like, we're going to go to one of these tryouts, and they're going to say, you made the team, and they're going to go, oh, thank you very much for the opportunity. We've decided not to. And they're going to come back and say, it'll be no cost to you, because they need those kids. Like the prodigies need to be developed, because that's why they can charge all of the non-prodigies. And if they go like, oh, I'm sorry you made that decision, we'd love to have you, but that and $4,000 will get your guy on the team, your kid on the team. He goes, all right, we're going to go back. We're going to play rec. We're going to do the local teams. We'll continue to work in the driveway and in the cul-de-sac and at the field to make sure that they're getting their passion, explored. I think that is something that makes a lot of sense. When everyone's like, we're missing out on our stars because of the cost of entry, I'm going, the stars don't pay the cost of entry.
Yeah.
If you go to the IMGs, the Oak Hills, the prolific preps, the 5-star recruits are not paying for those prep schools. The 5 stars are getting scholarships so they can then say, we've produced all of these 5 stars, when they're charging all of the 3 stars. Or the no stars. That's how that all works. So I agree. The cost of entry into youth sports is bananas. It is stupid, and it needs to be fixed. And I mean that wholeheartedly, but not to get our premier athletes involved, especially soccer, because those skills are identifiable so young. You can't really do that with football. You can't look at a 7-year-old and say like, oh, that guy's going to be the best lineman, because you need to see how physical they are when they mature. We're talking post-puberty. But soccer, it does seem like you can kind of tell which ones are going to be dudes at like 6 years old, 7 years old. So those ones are being rushed to the academies, and they're not the ones paying thousands and thousands of dollars. Those coaches need them. That's my take on the subject.
We'll just need Kevin Sullivan on the first team for the next World Cup. That's the key.
We need Kevin Sullivan, who, if you don't know, he's playing for Philadelphia Union in the MLS. He is 16 years old. He is going to go to Manchester City at 18. That's already been decided and negotiated. I think not only do we need him at the next World Cup, you need 75% of the team to be within 2 years of age of him. Like, basically send our U23 team with Kevin Sullivan so they can learn each World Cup together. You don't want him learning with a 34-year-old, and then the next World Cup, it's him and nobody else that's ever been there before. Like, you need to kind of have this generation, if he is that good, grow with him and around him through the World Cups, because every 4 years you get to learn lessons about what it's like to play in a World Cup. You can't do it every year. And I've made the comparison to the Carolina Hurricanes. They lost in the postseason 7 times, but learned lessons each time, and then finally put it all together to win a cup. If it takes you 7 losses in the World Cup to learn, that's 28 years, and you've been turned over roster-wise 3 or 4 times by then. I was on-air math for you. Take that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Up next, speaking of the World Cup, there might be a World Cup bold prediction or two in real bold predictions coming up right after this, right here on 99.9 The Fan.
Having Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
There's so much beyond being able to make every single throw. It's making sure you get everybody in the right play, making sure you have the right checks against pressure, making sure your team manages the clock. There are so many different elements beyond just dropping back and throwing a ball. And when it comes to the Patrick Mahomes of it all, that's where the winning shows up.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's 2 things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. All right, before we get to real bold predictions, what's going on in the World Cup? We got Belgium, we got Spain. It's quarterfinals, nitty-gritty time. What do we got?
It's still 1-1. The 84th minute. Not a ton happening imminently right now. Belgium just kind of kicking around with possession, but I think they're just trying to hold on maybe for extra time or try to get like a last-minute counterattack down the field and try to steal one at the end. It remains to be seen.
to be in Belgium right now, right? Just how absolutely crazy those situations must be.
Eating some waffles.
Well, I'm still anti that for the wound is still fresh for them beating the United States. Give me a couple weeks, but eventually, yeah, I'll have some. They're big on chocolate out there, right? Give me some.
It makes no difference, honestly. Like, it could have been any European team, any talented team. I'm not going to hold it against Belgium in particular, just because they happen to keep matching up against us and beating us. It's on us for not having more quality.
I hold it against them and us. There's room for everybody on the blame pie. Either way, score tied there. Spain, Belgium, 1-1. Winner obviously advancing to the semifinals after this. There you go. Here in this moment on The Drive, it's time for Real Bold Predictions. Real Bold Predictions, one of my favorite games. It is the only place in sports media, and I have not fact-checked this, the only place in sports media that has Real Bold Predictions, meaning certified, authenticated. While most just say, like, I've got a bold prediction, and then they can say whatever they want. Oh, I got a bold prediction. I think Tedero McMillan's going to have at least 400 yards receiving this year. He had 1,000 last year. And then when it happens, they go like, I got my bold prediction right, and they celebrate. So we don't do that. Instead, we've installed what we call the bold enough bell and the not bold enough buzzer. And the way it works is I make a prediction that I think is bold. If I hear the bell, we're good. We can move on. We'll discuss it, but we can move on to the next prediction. If I hear the buzzer, I have to make it bolder on the spot until we hear the bell. It's a way to make sure we're doing what we're saying we're doing. First one, we'll start with the World Cup since we were just talking about it. Norway beats England tomorrow. Yeah, Norway. Erling Haaland. Do you know what's hilarious? Listen, I'm all for, defending United States athletics, and I saw somebody that said, does Haaland know he could have been a tight end and made some real money because he's 6'4", 6'5", whatever? And then somebody sent how much Erling Haaland is making per week, and it was like, you know what? He's getting quarterback money.
I think he's doing all right.
I think he doesn't have to worry about you could have been Cole Kmet. I think he's doing just fine. But also Norway, they've become my for no reason other than they were in Greensboro for their headquarters and came to a Canes game. They're my squad.
Yeah, I got this. I'm wearing my Norway training kit I got from my dad from Greensboro.
There you go. So they're
Norway.
The local team. Oh, that is, yeah. I just saw it on the screen. I didn't realize what kind of soccer jersey it was, but you're right. More World Cup. Lionel Messi, multiple goals versus Switzerland in the quarterfinals. This guy's 50 years old. Multiple goals is not impressive.
Also has had multiple goals in multiple games of this tournament and is also the all-time leader in goals in the World Cup.
I'll go for now. I'll go 2 goals and an assist. I don't know if they're going to score 3. All right, I got the bell. Another thing I do.
Oh, no. Backup keeper, man. Coughed up a rebound, and Spain has taken the lead.
So Belgium's, for those of you that weren't listening 10 minutes ago, Belgium's goaltender in the World Cup that's going on right now, quarterfinal, had to be replaced due to injury, I believe. Apparently backup goaltender just had a real backup goaltender moment.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think his heart rate is right now? 408?
It probably went from that to about 10 after he letting that in.
What do you think his family's heart rate is at right now, watching wherever they're watching? 700? All right, that's just an update, though. That wasn't a bold prediction. Basically, once my team's eliminated, and obviously I was Team United States men's national team, I root for 2 things. I look for any connection, a.k.a. Norway, and I just appreciate greatness, and obviously Messi, that's one of them. So let's get a bunch of goals for him. I think this is his last World Cup, probably, right?
Maybe. Although his someone pointed out that his son will be 18 in 2030, and also they're playing some kickoff games for that World Cup in Argentina and Uruguay. It's a 100th anniversary celebration of the World Cup, so wouldn't be shocked if he was still going.
Roll him out there on a walker.
He walks most of the game anyway.
Those Holland videos are funny that way, where he's just prowling and then all of a sudden, go! More real bold predictions. How about we go? We've been talking ACC football. Let's go ACC football. Notre Dame loses 2 games to ACC teams this year.
Ooh, I haven't seen who's on their schedule.
I can read it to you.
Go for it.
I think this will make it more bold, actually. This is helping my cause. At Carolina, versus Stanford, versus Miami. When I say versus, obviously home game. Versus Boston College, versus SMU, at Syracuse.
Yeah, they're not losing 2 games to that.
Miami,
to that stretch.
SMU would be the favorites, but I also think that the Notre Dame ACC little rivalry thing, I think it's gonna take a funny turn some point in the future, right? They were mad about the CFP and the back and forth and who they were championing. I think there's gonna be some squirrely stuff happen. More. How about this one? I did some thinking for this one. 3 running backs in the ACC this year have more yards than anyone had in the ACC, rushing yards, than anyone had in the conference last year. So last year's leader was Mark Fletcher from Miami. Had a bunch of games to do it. Came in under 1,200 yards, 1,190. I'm building in like one injury. Nate Shepard from Duke, Isaac Brown from Louisville, Justice Haynes from Georgia Tech, and Mark Fletcher from Miami with less competition. I think those guys are all better and also kind of going to be depended upon by their teams more than anyone in the conference last year, barring injury. So I built in one. And then there's probably 1 or 2 surprises out there, too. Some people are really high on the Cal running back. I guess he was at Washington but didn't do much. There'll be 1 or 2 surprises as well that might help me out if there are more injuries. More real bold predictions here on The Drive. Let's go NBA Summer League. Hornets repeat as Summer League champions. Why is that not bold? Picking a champion.
It's going to happen.
They've done it once, ever. And now it's not even bold to say they're going to do it in back-to-back.
Yeah, they have a God squad.
I'll take the low-hanging fruit. Hornets repeat. Do they give an MVP for Summer League? I don't even know.
I think they do.
Liam McNeely MVP on champion Hornets. There you go.
I wanted to buzz that too, but I wasn't going to do that too.
I mean, Liam McNeely might.
It's like the Summer League GOAT.
I was going to say. He might earn a nickname for the rest of his career from me. For those of you that don't know, and I don't know why you would, Cameron Tringale used to be on the PGA Tour. I believe he's a live golfer now. I made a good amount of money betting on Cameron Tringale, and I might even be pronouncing that wrong, to just be the leader after the first round of PGA golf tournaments because I used to call him Thursday Tiger. He was great on Thursdays. Not that good, mediocre Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but he's great on Thursdays. So to this day, like if he pops up on anything, I'm like, hey, Thursday Tiger. Liam McNeely might be Summer League Jordan pretty soon. And then he could go on to have a long NBA career. He could go on to be a point guard in the NBA for a long time, knock down a bunch of big shots, and I'll still be going like, hey, there's Summer League Tiger. Or Summer League Jordan, excuse me. Little Summer League action. All right, last one. We'll go NHL offseason. People might not like this one, but it's a bold prediction. Nick Scourton is traded by this time next week. Hey, why the long thought there?
I don't know, just because it feels like they're never it'll never come to a resolution. So just you picking any sort of action that warranted the bell for me.
I just think it's become like I'm kind of George Costanza-ing myself. Like doing the opposite of what I think is going to happen. It seems like the Canes have done a really good job of throwing me and everyone off the scent of what they're trying to do. Like it's very hard to predict. And it does, just vibes and social media and interaction with Canes fans. It does seem like everybody's kind of reserved to like, all right, this is going to take forever. And as soon as we have that thought, we're ripe for the picking, right? We're ripe for the surprise. So I'm trying to reverse psychology my way to being correct. And it's bold, so there you go. That's it for Real Bold Predictions here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Not a bad one there. You weren't as tough of a grader as you usually are. A lot more buzzers traditionally. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing work, electrical work. I like to think those are things we take for granted. They're kind of like stuffy noses, right? When you have a clear nose and you're breathing fine, you never think about it. The moment it's stuffy, it's the worst thing in the history of the world. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, electrical work. When they're working well, you flip the switch, you set the thermostat, and you just go. You don't think about it. As soon as they're not working, goodness, is that miserable. So consider Maynard Service Company like the best decongestant on the planet, right? They will fix your stuffy nose in 2 seconds. They'll do so while respecting your house, right? Keeping it clean, not making a mess, not doing too much noise, whatever rules you have for your house, they're good there. But also affordably, and they do quality work. Service you can trust, Maynard Service Company, heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, electric. It's a great time to start thinking about heating maintenance as well. I know it seems early, it's just getting hot, or it is hot, but eventually, you know how it goes. The cold will be here, and you're going to want your heater working. Get that maintenance checked out. The number to call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Locally owned, by the way. I'll be calling someone right here in the Triangle. You can also check them out online, MaynorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. The starting five is up next. Stick around.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
You put sunscreen on when you go out in the sun. Did you know that the sun could hurt your car, too? It's true. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from Soundstation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why Soundstation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with Soundstation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Raleigh, the appetite for destruction returns. Guns N' Roses. World Tour 2026. One night. Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh. July 23rd. With special guest, Public Enemy. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Presented by Live Nation.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Scattered storms are in the forecast this evening. They could produce heavy rain for the evening commute and dinner time, along with strong winds. Then mostly cloudy with lows in the mid-70s. Saturday, we're in the low 90s with a chance for some scattered evening storms.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 149 points to 52,637.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
5 o'clock on a Friday, everybody. If you work a traditional Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, congratulations, you've made it to the weekend. If you're into that sort of thing, cheers. Hopefully, it's going to be a good weekend. Hopefully, it's going to be a good starting five. It's always good with Baker Home Exteriors. The starting five is brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. The Baker family has roofed the Carolinas since 1915. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Always good work. BakerHomeExteriors.com. Now, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's Serena Williams again. 14 years after that first victory here. Grand Slam number 22. Irresistible, majestic. And the judgment of history will surely be that she was in a class of her own.
That's an unusual, was not expected that twist there, Max. So we're talking Wimbledon here. Wimbledon's been going on. I was obviously expecting a Sinner Djokovic. You went with Serena Williams.
There was a more compelling vintage highlight there than anything today. Sinner just rolled over Djokovic. Dominant fashion. Tennis is in trouble without Carlos Alcaraz healthy. He needs to come back as soon as possible.
I don't know if it's in trouble.
It's a lot less dynamic and compelling, I would say.
I think, well, first of all, for today's match, and I'm not a huge tennis fan, but I am a massive fan of competition and championships and greatness and everything else. I really like a good passing of the torch scenario. I love when the old legendary all-timers trying to hold off the youngsters, or even if he's aware the old-timers are the young guns have taken his spot at the top, he wants to just catch them once or twice. Djokovic is, he is of the previous generation, right? And Sinner and Alcaraz are the next. But I like when those opportunities arise. And then I also like when the young gun says, new sheriff in town, appreciate the effort, respect, but I'm gonna blow your doors off here, which sounds like is what happened earlier today. And then if Sinner wants to go ahead and be better than everyone else other than Alcaraz, and Alcaraz isn't around due to injury or whatever, I just want to see Sinner mow people down. If you're that much better than the third best tennis player in the world, that's not something that I'm going to lament. That's something that I'm going to kind of be excited to watch.
He is that good, and he does mow down pretty much everybody, unless it's hot out or the match goes beyond, I think, 4 hours or 3.5 hours. That's when he becomes susceptible to fall short, and that's what happened at the French, which is why he got knocked out early, along with most of the big names, and that allowed Alexander Zverev to get his first Grand Slam, and he'll meet Sinner in the final for Wimbledon on Sunday. I think Sinner will probably have no problem handling Zverev there to win. I think this would be his 4th or 5th Grand Slam. 5th? I should have pulled that up in front of me. For Sinner. All within the last 4 years, him and Alcaraz have run it. Hopefully Alcaraz is going to come back for the U.S. Open. Apparently he is aiming to return for Cincinnati, which is the event right before the U.S. Open. So hopefully they will both be in good form headed into that in New York.
Yeah, he's obviously a monster right now. Four titles, 2 runners-up, 1 pending in Grand Slam tournament finals. He's good. I like greatness. Hopefully he becomes one of the all-timers. That's number 5. Oh, and by the way, Serena Williams was in the running here. You heard the highlight. Obviously not in the final, but and speaking of greatness, anytime she can be in the field, that's something that's going to be, you're not sure how many more times you're going to be able to watch that ever. And talk about an all-time great.
She put it all out there. Lost that first round match, but admirable effort. And then it's an all Czech final for the women tomorrow. It's Noskova versus Carolina Muchova.
You practice those?
No practice.
You roll through it. I like it. Next up, we hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Shot clock down to 7. Simpson around the screen. Fires to Knippel. 3 on the way. It's gone. Knippel makes it a 4-point game.
The Charlotte Hornets, not Knippel, the Summer League Charlotte Hornets, opened their Summer League last night in Vegas. 86-74. They got the dub over the Orlando Magic. I would say pretty overwhelmingly solid results. If there are 2 players that you'd want more from, and that's why you have Summer League. You let him play through some of it. Max, we did talk pretty highly of Christian Anderson going into the Summer League debut last night. Said he's going to have a lot of opportunity. Usually the stats are put up by the guys that can go get the ball. Well, he went and got the ball. He put some shots up. Didn't make many of them.
No.
2 of 11, 0 of 5. He is one of the Hornets' first-round picks, by the way. 0 of 5 from 3, finished with 6 points, 1 rebound, just 2 assists, 2 turnovers. Alarms? Question mark?
He looked a bit overwhelmed out there for sure, but if I remember correctly from Summer League last year, I think Knipple had one game where he didn't look all that great, and he went on to the highlight that I played coming into this one.
He's like, I'm just going to follow the blueprint exactly.
Yeah, well, that's from the Summer League title game, and he won Summer League MVP last year, if I remember correctly. So I won't chalk it all. I won't assign my opinion on him based on one game. Hopefully he bounces back. I think they play Saturday and Sunday this weekend, so hopefully he can put it together a little bit more. But the other first-round pick, Hans Steinbach, looked pretty good, efficient, good hands, good rebounding. So some positive signs there to kind of offset a little bit of a lackluster debut in Summer League for Christian Anderson.
A couple of blocks as well for Steinbach. The other kind, there's I don't know, different roles or reasons why somebody would be in Summer League. Rookies, get your feet wet, get used to the NBA, all those things. There's also the role player of an NBA team who you can work on new skills, or you can give them a bigger role so you get to like almost audition that. Sion James is playing for the Charlotte Hornets in Summer League. I think last year he proved there's a role for him at the NBA level, right? Perimeter bench, defense, like it's a very specific role, but he can do that. They were giving him the ball a lot, meaning ball handling and initiating the offense, which is something that he did a bit at Duke, but was never really looked super confident in it. And last night there was a lot of not really looking super confident in it with his ball handling, and they let him struggle through it. So they're obviously trying to get him to a point where he can be an emergency ball handler, and that's going to take a lot of Summer League reps.
Yes, it will. His offense is somewhat limited. Great defender though. Love to have that defensive ability off of the bench, but I don't know if the offensive skill set is there for him to be the ball dominant guard coming off the bench. So we'll see what the plan is in terms of that.
It's not even like he'll never be a ball dominant guard. It's to me, if he ever becomes even good enough to be like the hey, so and so's in foul trouble, so and so is hurt, and they're double teaming this guy. We just need you to get it up the court and initiate the offense. And I thought he would be able to handle it a bit better, but last night it did not look.
Wasn't his best night. I remember being shocked the first game of the regular season last year when he came in like the first quarter. I was like,
he has a role.
I thought he was going to be a deep bench, like garbage time in case of emergency. And I was like, oh, he's like a rotational piece from day one.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, like similar idea, different role for Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like, to me, he's already established there's a role for him in the NBA, but you put him in the Summer League and you can run the offense through him a bit more. You can let him work on a few different aspects of his game that he would never get to develop at the NBA level, but he might be able to sprinkle in a little bit at the NBA level if he continues to develop it during the offseason, including in Summer League, which, 5 assists for him last night is pretty good. Also had 4 turnovers, but that's what Summer League is for, working through it. Hornets, obviously, there's good vibes. Some would say, why did they trade LaMelo? Others would say they're a work in progress, and a lot of these young guys have a lot of ceiling that they can go try to chase.
The LaMelo trade went official, by the way, about I want to say about an hour ago. So as of today, officially done. LaMelo Ball going to the Timberwolves.
That's interesting, because there's another trade that did not go official, a.k.a. our number 3.
What?
The Raptors trading for Kawhi Leonard is, what do we call it, pause? It's on hiatus? I don't know how we want to describe it. On hold, due to the ongoing investigation, probe. Again, all the words need to be chosen carefully here. Basically, there's an investigation on if the Clippers circumnavigated the salary cap with fraud endorsements never had to actually endorse anything, got paid way over the deal, and the money was moved through a third party from Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, to Kawhi Leonard. And when the Raptors agreed to trade for Kawhi, they thought that this investigation would be wrapped up by now. They agreed to it about 11 days ago. And now with the investigation or the probe still ongoing, they're going to wait it out. They're going to wait to see what happens here, see if there's any discipline. This is what I talked about yesterday. This is the reality television show of a professional sports league offseason that teams and leagues have leaned into, right? Now there's going to be a winner and loser here, right? Whoever is not punished is the winner, and whoever is the loser is the one that gets the NBA's ire thrown their way. And you used to not have those in the offseason. There weren't winners and losers in the offseason. You were just waiting around. You might even not pay attention to basketball for a few months. But now you have this going on, and there's ripple effects. And what do the Raptors do if they don't get Kawhi? What do the Clippers do if they're forced to bring him back? It gets real hairy pretty darn quick. Does the compensation change? We've seen that in the past for certain sports leagues where you agree to a trade, then all of a sudden you might look at a physical, new injury pop up or some other bit of information, and they go like, all right, we'll still take him, but we're giving you one less first rounder. Like maybe it's a negotiation ploy. Either way, Kawhi's become more of like a narrative. He's still a really good player when he's out there. And Toronto won an NBA championship with him. So he already has a little bit of positive vibes going his way. If there is a local tie here, the trade for Kawhi did have Brandon Ingram going from the Toronto Raptors to the Clippers. So now with Kawhi in limbo, ipso facto, Brandon Ingram is also in limbo. He doesn't know not only which team he's going to be playing for, but which country he's going to be living in, Toronto or out there in California with the Clippers. It's crazy. I don't even know. Go watch the Pablo Torre stuff at some point on the circumnavigating of the cap. It seems like there's a lot of stuff leaning towards it happened, but there also is a lot of stuff leaning towards how the heck you're going to prove it, which puts all the onus on the NBA to make heads or tails of it. Do with that what you will. What number was that? 3? Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Lopez fakes a screen, now hits the tunnel screen to June. June out into the open. June down the far sideline, fights off a tackler. June's going to take it to the house. 10-5, touchdown, Carolina. Damon June all the way for Saints.
ESPN released or announced or put forth the first FPI, which stands for Football Power Index, college football top 25. Now, FPI, it's supposed to be all predictive, meaning they take into account what has already happened, results, news, everything, but it's not a ranking based on what you've done. It is a prediction on how good you will be and how good you are moving forward. It's important to note that, right? It's not like if you beat a team, it's not, okay, that's a huge win. Now you're better than everybody that lost to that team. It is you beat a team, you're likely a better team, or you're likely a strong team, so we will predict moving forward. It's kind of confusing, but hopefully I did a halfway decent job of explaining that. The reason why I'm bringing it up here is there's some talk of funny business going on. The college football top 25 at the top. I'll give you the top 5 here. I'm not going to read the whole top 25. FPI top 25 starts with Ohio State 1, Texas 2, Notre Dame 3, Oregon 4, Georgia 5. I might tweak it a little bit. I might bump one of those teams down to 7 or 8. I'm not here to litigate the exacts. But big picture, there are 12 SEC teams in the top 25 of this metric. 12. including teams that weren't very good last year, like Auburn, like South Carolina, like Florida. And I wouldn't say those teams have done an astronomical amount to make us think that they are astronomically better. They've done, everyone plays the portal. Everyone's got money. Everyone's spending. Everyone's bringing in different players. But having 12 SEC teams in the top 25, if it is unearned or if it is some SEC bias, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It becomes water that makes you thirsty. And what I mean by that is, okay, because the SEC is good in my mind, which is just an opinion, right? I'm going to put them in the top 25. Now, when the SEC plays each other, which you do in conference schedule, if you win a game, it's a massive win because you beat a top 25 team. All right, boost them way up in my mind. But if you lose a game, it's not that bad because you lost to a top 25 team. Don't lower them very much. And you do that for an entire conference schedule and for no other reason other than I thought you were better at the beginning of the year. It will appear as if your conference is much stronger probably than it even is. I put my biases on Front Street, as I often say. I am a ACC homer. I'm not comparing them to the ACC. The ACC has 3 teams in. Clemson at 19, SMU at 24, and Miami, who's up there in 7. That's it. I'm not saying the SEC isn't as good as the ACC. No. I'm just comparing how the SEC actually is, their actual quality, versus what they're going to be given credit for. And I think there is going to be a pretty ridiculous delta between how good their teams actually are and how good they're given credit for being because of how it starts. So these polls, these indexes, they matter. They do. If this were baseball, they wouldn't matter as much because we're going to play 1 billion games and we're going to be able to settle it on the field, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to prove how good you are or how not good you are on the field. In football, you only get, 12, 13, 14, depending on how far you make it into the CFP games, and everybody doesn't play the same teams. So where you start has a huge impact on not only where you finish, but where everyone you play finishes. If I played nothing but top 10 teams, none of my losses would hurt me. You know what I mean? Because everybody would just go like, oh, that's not that bad a loss. It's a good loss. So when you look at it with that many SEC teams, including ones that didn't earn their way, right? I have no problem with Georgia being up there, right? I have no problem with teams that are good, were good, have proven they're good being up there. I have problems for just assuming every year Florida's going to be a top 20 team just because they're Florida. And, they have great recruits. They had great recruits last year. Trust me, Auburn wasn't scraping the bottom of the barrel last year when they weren't very good. They went in with talent. They weren't very good. Why do we assume they're going to be different? Penn State at 17. They changed their coach. At the best, they're an unknown. And yes, I will say everything that I've been complaining about, you could apply to Clemson as well. So, that's my proof that I'm being at least slightly objective. Clemson probably shouldn't be up there. But now all the ACC teams that have Clemson on their roster or on their schedule are going perfect. If I beat them, that's a top 20 win. If I lose to them, who cares? That's a top 20 loss. Doesn't hurt you. And do you know what else is frustrating me? This is a side note, not directly to the FPI. And I've had this thought for a long time. Why on the schedules, when you lose to a team or win against a team and the results, do you have the rank next to their name of what they were at the time? Who cares what they were at the time? It should change as they go up and down. So it's I beat the 4th best team in the country. It would be the team that we know is the 4th best team now, looking at their full resume. I hate it when, you look at the beginning of last year, right? It's you beat Clemson early in the season. You beat the 4th best team in the country. They were never the 4th best team in the country. Never. I said it earlier. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen, period. But I do think that rankings should be banned until after week 5, going into week 6. Go play 5 games and let us watch. Then we'll decide how good you are. But they didn't ask me. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Bukayo Saka to Eberechi Eze, the Arsenal double act, make it a triple. Here's Declan Rice, hoists in the cross. Didn't go out, they're appealing for it, the Congo substitutes. There's the cross to Kane! He scores! England's saviour! England's captain! Harry Kane in the nick of time!
The World Cup's ongoing. Did the earlier game end up finishing up?
Yeah, it's over. Spain won 2-1.
Spain wins 2-1 over Belgium. That puts Spain the betting favorite, at least at the beginning of the tournament, although I think they've been overtaken by France. That puts Spain the betting favorite into the semifinals, where if France wins, that's what it's going to be in the semis, right? It's going to be Spain and France?
Well, France is already through.
So it is Spain and France.
Spain and France.
There you go.
Semi, yep.
That's is that one of those like, hey, the Super Bowl is actually going to be the NFC Championship game situation?
Well, it could be Argentina, England, or Norway coming out of the other side, or Switzerland. I don't want to discount Switzerland, but there's still going to be quite a good opponent coming across the other side as well.
All right. So we have Spain, we have France there. What do you think of this as a analogy? Of the elite World Cup teams, Spain's kind of the Carolina Hurricanes? Because they don't have them, there's no McDavid, there's no Mbappe.
Oh, they have Lamine Yamal.
He's not top 5 by any of the things that I went and looked up. The highest that any Spain player I looked at, I think it was 6 different who's the best player in the world right now, soccer rankings. The highest a player from Spain was 9th on any of those lists. That's not my opinion. I don't have an opinion on the subject, but I looked at quite a few. And there were different kinds. There were the who are the best players in the World Cup list. There were also just who's the best player in the world right now. There were all of those lists. Again, not my list, but I looked at a bunch of them. Spain didn't appear to have somebody in the running. They had basically what became like 9, 11, 12, 17, 18, 9. They had a fourth of the top 20, something like that. But they did not have the super dude. And that kind of reminded me of the Canes, where it's like, they've got dudes. It's not like they got scrubs, but they didn't need a 100-point scorer to go be the best team. You know what I mean? They didn't need the $14 million player to go be the best team. So perhaps Spain could follow some of that. Although you're telling me that one of these players should have been top 5?
I think Lamine Yamal is one of the best players in the Spanish league.
Well, one of the best players in the Spanish league is not going to be top 5
he might be the best player
in the world.
I think he won Player of the Season or something like
okay.
that.
Maybe these lists were
He's
all
very
wrong.
good, the point being.
Maybe these lists were all wrong. So it's a bad analogy. I take it back. It does say that he's 5'10", 168. It always blows my mind how good soccer players are, but how 168 is a stiff breeze might blow him over. But obviously he's a monster. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk United States real quick. World Cup exit, right? This is the week where all the reactions have, I would say, been their most extreme. And then as further and further you go, more and more of the soccer conversation, if you pay attention to it, will get more and more grounded and probably realistic. Here's the way I look at it for the United States. The next challenge, right, and hopefully that's achieved by the next World Cup, is very simply depth, right? The reason why Christian Pulisic is getting so hammered by everyone involved with USA Soccer is because he was the dude, right? He was the guy that was not allowed to have any bad performances. And that is unfair expectations unless you are with the guys we were talking about, like the top 5, top 10 players in the world, which he's not. And I can say that one with a little bit of knowledge. The thing about a single elimination tournament, and especially now that it starts at the round of 32, all right, that's darn near a full NCAA tournament's worth of games, is there's nobody that's going to go 5 straight games without ever having an off night. There's nobody that's going to go 5 straight games without ever tweaking an ankle and not being their best. So the best teams are all right, you're our guy. Most of the time you're going to have to be really good, but the times you're not, one of these 2 other guys can step up, or one of these 5 other guys can step up. And it was very obvious the United States didn't have that. If Pulisic wasn't the spark, or if Balogun wasn't the spark, they had nothing. They had good players that could build off of the spark, but they had no one to go get it. So that's, I mean, depth is going to be an important part of any team sport, and that's made the difference. Again, I'm not a soccer guy, so I can't, list the 9 dudes that could be the spark for Spain, or the 7 that could be the spark for France, but you need those. You need them. And we'll see. What are the big matches coming up this weekend? There's England and Switzerland tomorrow.
No, England and Norway, and then Argentina and Switzerland.
Oh, Argentina and Switzerland. Darn it. I didn't know that. Those are coming up both tomorrow, right? Norway versus England at 5, Argentina, Switzerland at 9. And then we'll have the quarterfinals set. Get into the nitty-gritty. Don't forget, the starting 5 is brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name, Baker Home Exteriors, bakerhomeexteriors.com. We need some numbers game contestants because somebody, speaking of World Cup, what about the World Rugby Nations Cup? We have a pair of tickets to see the United States versus Spain in the World Rugby Nations Cup a little over a week from now at Wake Med Soccer Park, July 18th. If you want to play, if you want to win the tickets, you got to call in now. We need 2 contestants. The phone number, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the United States versus Spain World Rugby Nations Cup and the glory that comes with the numbers game. Again, the number, 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
Move your sports day forward.
Championships are rare, and you'll always remember June 14, 2026, when rare became reality for you and the Carolina Hurricanes. Remember the feeling when the clock hit 0 and you high-five the person next to you. The feeling, multiply it by 1,000,000. That's the collective I told you so from Caniac Nation to every non-believer.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
A lot has changed since 1915. The way the Baker family treats people hasn't. They've roofed the Carolinas for over 100 years. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work. At a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's kept that promise for generations. Baker Home Exteriors. Always good work. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize, or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's time to play the numbers game shortly. But first, we got to fill one more line. We had a drop. Happens on Fridays. Some of you jump on the phone. You're not committed. I'm sure you get to like your happy hour or something and you bail. Either way, call in now if you want to be thrown right into the fire and potentially win yourself some World Rugby Nations Cup tickets. USA versus Spain. It's always fun to see a competition where you put the country on your jersey. So call in now, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. And somebody is going to compete against Hunter and Raleigh, who's waiting patiently on the line. So we have one contestant. We need one more. 919-860-5326. Call in now. Don't make me beg or rush. I know some of you are like, hey, there's absolutely no way that I'll get through. You have a better chance than you think. Or we could just run with Hunter, and then we'll see how well he does, and we'll see if anybody else gets on the line at some point. Let's go to Hunter in Raleigh. Hunter, can you hear me? Oh, wait. Hold on. Max is working. Lines were ringing. I just didn't see them. That's on me. Hunter in Raleigh will be going up against Trey in Clayton, it appears. Trey in Clayton. So now we can start. We
actually have Hunter in Raleigh has also dropped.
Hunter in Raleigh has dropped. So now somebody needs to go up against Trey in Clayton. Goodness. Call in 919-860-5326, and the line's ringing again. Again, I'm all over the place today. We'll see who it is, but Trey and Clayton will be going up against. Oh, Hunter and Raleigh back on there. I have no idea what's going on. I think we're settled now.
We got him back. We're
Hunter
good.
and Raleigh, Trey and Clayton battling for World Rugby Nations Cup tickets. We'll start the way we always do. Let's try to get this train back on the tracks. We'll bring them on one at a time, ask them the same question. Max will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first, and we'll go from there. Hunter and Raleigh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. It is a Friday, which means we're looking at the weekend. And with it being the weekend, let's go ahead and ask, what are you looking forward to most? But remember, we are a sports show, so keep it sports related.
Looking forward to the Scottish Open. Watching that for the rest of the weekend.
All right, Scottish Open. I like your style. Any follow-ups, Max? No, we are good to go. Let's go to Trey in Clayton. Trey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
All right, same question to you. It is a Friday. We're looking towards the weekend. What are you looking forward to most about the weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure you keep it sports related.
Oh, man, I'm ready to watch some more of that FIFA World Cup, chill with the bros, and crush some beers.
All right. FIFA World Cup with the bros. Max, any follow-up?
Who are you rooting for this weekend, Trey?
Well, that's a tough decision. I mean, I could always say Paris just because they're a stacked team, but let's go with Uruguay or Holland. What team's Holland on?
Norway.
Why am I blanking right now? Norway. There we go.
All right, get those brain freezes out of the way because they're not good for the numbers game. They're fine now, though. Max, which one are we rolling with? Hunter and Raleigh, who's going to be posted up watching the Scottish Open, or Trey and Clayton, who's going to be watching the World Cup with the bros, rooting for Norway?
I wasn't so convinced that Trey knew which teams are playing this weekend in the World Cup, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but Hunter was locked in with the Scottish Open. It's a little more niche, so we'll let him go first.
All right.
It's just because I'm wearing my Norway training kit, too. I felt like
he eventually
got to give Holland that respect.
When he said Holland, I thought he was talking about the city. It was confusing. But he did end up getting to Norway with a little help. Either way, Hunter will go first. Trey, don't worry about it. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second or two. Hunter, are you ready to pick a category?
Ready when you are.
All right. The categories for you to choose from are as follows. NFL, Panthers only. Major League Baseball, Sacrifice Kings. These are players who led the league in sacrifice bunts at some point in time for a season. NBA players that were all LeBron James teammates at one point or another, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Panthers only.
All right, NFL Panthers only. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. If that's the case, your time will start when you hear the horn. Kyle Allen, Carolina Panthers.
7.
Correct. Xavier Legette, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Correct. Jeremy Chin, Carolina Panthers.
23.
Incorrect. Deion Grant, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Richard Huntley, Carolina Panthers.
42.
Incorrect. Jeremy Chin, Carolina Panthers.
21.
Correct. Deion Grant, Carolina Panthers.
55.
Incorrect. Richard Huntley, Carolina Panthers.
73.
Incorrect. 3 out of the 5 is your number. Solid score. The 2 you missed, Deion Grant, we were looking for 27. Richard Huntley, we were looking for 34. But as I said, 3 is the number, so stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Trey in Clayton. Trey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are Major League Baseball sacrifice kings, meaning players who led leagues in sacrifice bunts over a season or more. NBA players that were at one point or another LeBron James teammates, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's go with LeBron James teammates.
Okay. And as I reminded myself yesterday when someone picked this category, we are talking about the older LeBron James, not Bronny James. All of these players were LeBron, the one we think of's teammates at some point or another. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, let's roll.
Let's roll. Time will start when you hear the horn. Anthony Davis, Los Angeles Lakers.
3.
Correct. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Cleveland Cavaliers.
11.
Correct. Mario Chalmers, Miami Heat.
Ooh. Mario Chalmers, Miami Heat. 6.
Incorrect. Anderson
No, that's
Varejao,
wrong.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
17.
Correct. Lonzo Ball, Los Angeles Lakers.
2.
Correct. Mario Chalmers, Miami Heat.
0.
Incorrect. Mario Chalmers, Miami Heat.
1.
Incorrect. Mario Chalmers, Miami Heat.
Oh, my God. 7.
You want to give us one more guess just to see?
Mario Chalmers. Oh, I should know this, too. Let's go with, I don't know, 7.
It was 15 is what we were looking for.
15.
But don't be too hard on yourself because 4 out of 5 is enough for the win. So congratulations.
Let's go.
You are a Mario Chalmers away from a perfect score. But a 4 out of 5, very solid. So congratulations. You have the rugby tickets coming your way. Stay on the line. Max will get the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
Sweet.
There you go. I think I've told this on air in the past, but it's too perfect because Mario Chalmers was the only one. I have one Mario Chalmers story. It was after Miami won one of their titles. I don't remember which one. I can tell you what year it was. It was after my junior year of college. We went, meaning my family, went on a family trip, mom, dad, brother, to a island, St. Kitts, and my dad works at Marriott Timeshare. We're at the timeshare. Mario Chalmers was there. This was a couple weeks after they won the NBA championship. He was there with his buddies. Passed him in the hallway a whole bunch of times. And me, as like a 20-year-old, maybe 21 at the time, just trying to do a lot of like head nods and be cool. Like, I see you. I know Mario Chalmers, what's going on, but not trying to interrupt him. But maybe we would have become best friends, right? That's the whole thing you're thinking. Maybe we'll play basketball at the pool, play volleyball, and then now we're just bros and we're hanging out, and I'm going to the Miami Heat games. Didn't end up happening that way. Probably didn't even notice my head nods. But Mario Chalmers was there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. If I was walking by a professional basketball player, I may, especially now, do a little wrist check, see what they have as far as luxury timepieces go. And there's a good chance they would have one of the brands, one of the models that you can buy at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically their Bailey's Fine Jewelry location in the Village District in Raleigh, because that's where the Omega Boutique is. That's where the Fox & Bailey watch shop is. That's where the largest selection in the state of pre-owned and vintage Rolex is. That's where there's every watch you could imagine is either at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, or they can do a pretty good job finding it for you, which is why I do suggest when you go to Bailey's Fine Jewelry and you're looking for your luxury watch that is going to be a part of your personality, talk to the experts, talk to their staff. Like I said, they can track down watches. They can steer you in a direction to a watch that fits what you're looking for, even if it's just to try it on and see how it feels. Do you want historical watches, iconic watches? Do you want the newest, most innovative? Do you want something with a splash of color? Do you want something classy and understated? What are you looking for? Talk to them about it, and they can help you out. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop in the Village District location in Raleigh. Let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We are nearing the end of the show on a Friday, which means there's only one thing left to do. We got to make some picks, and we're going to do that coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
There's so much beyond being able to make every single throw. It's making sure you get everybody in the right play, making sure you have the right checks against pressure, making sure your team manages the clock. There are so many different elements beyond just dropping back and throwing a ball. And when it comes to the Patrick Mahomes of it all, that's where the winning shows up.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Plenty of companies will sell you a new roof. Fewer will tell you if you actually need one. Since 1915, people across the Carolinas have trusted the Baker name to do right by their homes. Baker Home Exteriors now does roofing, siding, windows, and doors, and always honest advice. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's earned it for over 100 years. Baker Home Exteriors. Visit bakerhomeexteriors.com.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business. The business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
With Bet365 Early Payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into making picks, especially because he is a native of North Carolina, one of them, we can update you on the drama, the reality television that comes with an NBA offseason. Max, why don't you go ahead and tell me tell everybody exactly what you told me during that commercial break.
Yeah, this is from Shams Charania about 4 minutes ago. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation in Las Vegas on Friday, which is today, so I don't know why he said it like that, in which Adebayo struck Hero, sources tell ESPN. And he went on to further say the altercation occurred at a practice court in a Las Vegas hotel this morning, sources said, starting when Adebayo approached Hero about comments the guard made critiquing the center on social media after their 7-year run in Miami ended.
Former teammates, no longer teammates. They get to drop the gloves metaphorically and potentially literally. What I will say if I'm Tyler Hero, or what I will say if I was a friend of Tyler Hero, this happened in Vegas. I believe Bam Adebayo is romantically involved with Asia Wilson. That's her city. All right, Las Vegas Aces, that's her city. Might be outnumbered there. Be careful. Also, Bam Adebayo, big dude. I've seen some... half joking here, but I've seen some workout videos of Tyler Hero getting the boxing going. Let me just say, I didn't leave more afraid of Tyler Hero after watching his boxing workouts. I did not go, whoa. I went more like, really? So just be prepared for that. Bam Adebayo, he's the favorite, like minus 1,200 on that fight. Now, let's go ahead and jump into making some picks. Max, you set them up. We'll banter. We'll make our picks. We'll go from there.
All right. Well, I think I guess it depends on what sports you're into, but the event of the weekend, at least in terms of global intrigue, is, of course, the
Wimbledon.
World Cup. Well, there are a lot of tennis fans out there. And normally I'd be more hyped too, but it's the matchups don't compel me. Maybe we'll get into Wimbledon here in a minute. But, of course, I'm talking about the World Cup, where the quarterfinals continue tomorrow with a doubleheader starting off with Norway, who I'm repping currently right now. With they're facing off with England. That game is in Miami tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Pretty even odds. It looks like England is a slight favorite in this one. In terms of the 90-minute line, England minus 110. Norway's plus 300, and a draw is plus 265. Erling Haaland competing for the Golden Boot race. Harry Kane has scored a few goals in this tournament as well. Who have you got between Norway and England tomorrow?
My brain, with very little knowledge of soccer, is saying not Norway. My heart, because of everything you said, right? They trained here in Greensboro. They were at the Canes game. I'm going Norway. What I like about it is, and we got a little bit of this when Argentina was down 2 to Egypt. I kind of, and the example I always use for this phenomena is the year where the Warriors had everybody hurt around Steph. They were a really good team, and then Draymond got hurt, and Clay got hurt, and everybody got hurt. I was like, I kind of want to just see Steph not have to pass and know that he has to score 50 for them to win. I kind of, when Argentina went down 2 to Egypt, I was like, we're just going to get to see Lionel Messi go, fellas, watch this. And that's exactly what he did, and they came back and won. I'm interested in seeing Erling Haaland say, I'm going to try to take on this whole team. I understand if a goal is scored, it almost has to be by me, and we might need 3 of them. So, watch my 6'5", unreal athletic self put it all together. So I'm picking Haaland to score 2 or 3, and I'm picking Norway to win. Boom.
I think this is one where maybe we could see some extra time. I feel like it's been a little while since we've had that. So give me the draw in regulation, but I think England advances, and England is favored to advance minus 215 on that line. The second game at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, this is Argentina taking on Switzerland. A little less even. Argentina, a significant favorite, minus 310 to advance, minus 145 on the 90-minute line. Argentina, we just mentioned their last game. They were kind of almost left for dead, down 2 to Egypt with about 25 minutes left. Stormed back, scored 3 in a row, won without even needing extra time. So they got here in the quarterfinal to take on Switzerland, who advanced past Colombia in a thrilling 0-0 match that went to penalties.
Oh, one of those.
And they advanced through. So Argentina and Switzerland tomorrow at 9. This game is, where is this game? I think this one might be in Atlanta.
It is in Kansas City.
Kansas City. Who do you got? Argentina, Switzerland.
I have a few rules. I don't bet against Tom Brady. I don't bet against Lionel Messi. That doesn't mean I always bet with them. It just means I never bet against them because you feel dumb. Like, you bet against Tom Brady and you lose. You're like, how in the heck did I fall for that? You bet against Lionel Messi and he has a great game and Argentina wins, especially in a situation where they're favored. You feel like a fool. So yeah, go ahead and give me Argentina to win. Messi will score. Arrowhead, I've seen a football game in Arrowhead. And this is pre-Mahomes, so it's like they weren't all that great. It gets loud in there. That place will get kicking pretty good. So Argentina to win. What about you?
Yeah, Argentina. I don't think they're going to have too much trouble with it. Don't sleep on the Swiss necessarily. They could definitely make it a game, but and Argentina struggle with some
Egypt.
No offense to Egypt and Cape Verde, some inferior competition, and ultimately gutted it out to win. But I think Argentina gets it done, and I think I would really like to see that Argentina and England matchup in the semifinal. But if it's Argentina versus Norway, I think that would be fun as well. Since you brought it up, let's go to Wimbledon next.
Let's do it.
Over at the All England Lawn Tennis Club up there in London. They've got the women's final tomorrow. It is an all-Czech final between Linda Noskova and Karolina Muchova. I don't know how much you know about either of them. I'm assuming not much, but who are you taking in that women's final?
Based on how well you pronounced those names, I'm going to officially here co-sign your prediction. So blindly, I'm tailing your pick. Who do you have?
I know more about Muchova. She's more of an established player, but I think Noskova is something like 11-1 on grass this year, and she's in good form. So we'll go with Noskova, even though Muchova, she just beat Coco Gauff in that semifinal yesterday. That was a great match as well. Coco probably should have won. She actually kind of blew it in the tiebreak, but that's kind of standard practice for American tennis players, unfortunately, is especially on the men's side. The women's, they're a lot more accomplished in recent years. But unfortunately fell short there. So we'll roll with Noskova in that final, and then the men's final.
Wait! How did us picking a final with no Americans in it end with you just steamrolling American tennis there?
It's really the men's that are bad. The American women aren't bad, but Coco's got to get the serve figured out.
Okay, all right.
And then the men's final on Sunday. Jannik Sinner, number 1 player in the world, just beat Novak Djokovic today. He's taking on Alexander Zverev, who's now the world number 2 since Carlos Alcaraz has been out for a while with injury. Zverev, the champion from French Open in May, taking on Sinner. I think Sinner has the head-to-head advantage. He's number 1 overall player in the world. But are you seeing an upset here on Sunday, or is Sinner just going to roll and get it done?
No, I think Sinner's going to roll and get it done. I mean, it seems like that's pretty much all he does is steamroll people, unless it's Alcaraz and he's not there. So yeah, give me Sinner to pick up his 5th Grand Slam title, which I mean he's going to get in rare air pretty darn quickly when it comes to Grand Slam titles, and you get to the stage where the names that he's going to be mentioned with are names that you would consider very, very good company. I assume you're on the same side as I am?
Yeah, I think Sinner wins, and I would not be shocked if it was in straight sets like he took care of Djokovic today.
Take that, Joker.
Not a fan of Zverev. He has some off-court controversy that we don't have to get into. Let's go over to UFC. UFC 329 this weekend is the return of Conor McGregor to the octagon. He's taking on Max Holloway. Max Holloway, I think, is a decent favorite in this one. Last I'd seen, he was like minus 194. McGregor hovering around plus 200 on the betting odds. Honestly, I can't even remember the last time McGregor has won a fight, and I'm not that plugged into it. It looks like it was in 2020. Meanwhile, in terms of Max Holloway, he's fought a lot more recently, has just gotten in the ring more. He's still kind of, I think he's younger, kind of more in his quote-unquote prime. Maybe not prime, but active. He lost his last fight, but had beaten Dustin Poirier last year, about a year ago, July 19th of last year. McGregor versus Holloway, that is the main event tomorrow. Who you got?
Yeah, not McGregor. Long time away, injuries, age. Also, you know, in combat sports, boxing, any of this stuff, MMA, it does seem like the bravado boxers, fighters, whatever, once that facade is kind of broken, it's just gone, right? When he was doing the goofy walk and he was doing the whole thing, it was like impenetrable. But then once that force field gets lowered, everyone's just like, oh, it's like the 4-minute mile, right? Like, it's impossible. You can't run a 4-minute mile. You can't beat McGregor. He's incredible. You can't. And then once somebody ran a 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister, this is like centuries ago or decades and decades ago, then all of a sudden there was like 30 guys that did it in the next month. McGregor appears to at one point in time have been unbelievable, but that facade has long since fallen. So give me Max Holloway.
Yeah, I think Holloway gets it done. This is actually a rematch of a fight from 2013 where
so Max Holloway's got to be a little long in the tooth, too.
McGregor won by unanimous decision in that one. So it's funny that they call it McGregor versus Holloway, too, when the last one was 13 years ago.
Hey, revenge, there's no expiration date on that one. You can go get your revenge 20 years later. It's still revenge.
Yeah, McGregor has not fought since July 10th, so actually to the day. 5 years ago today, he lost to Dustin Poirier by TKO. He had actually lost to him twice that year in 2021. Has not fought in UFC or by any indication any mixed martial arts fight since then. So
he's still a very good showman. Like he still knows how to work a weigh-in, a stare down. He still knows how to do all of that. It's just I don't know if I trust him as much with the actual fighting.
All right, well, we'll wrap up now with a little bit of NBA Summer League. Trying to get our hoops fix here this summer. And the Hornets actually have 2 Summer League games this weekend. They're taking on the Pelicans tomorrow. And then they are facing off with the Celtics on Sunday. Are the Hornets sweeping the weekend in Summer League, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they just keep feeding Liam McNeely, they'll be A-okay. I don't know much about who's on the summer teams for the other NBA teams who they've decided to throw down there. The Celtics are in shambles. They lost Jaylen Brown. They have no idea what they're doing. Go Sixers. And so they'll lose that one for sure.
Hornets are repeating as champs.
Yeah, undefeated champs.
They own Vegas.
Their city. And Bam Adebayo's, apparently. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Max the last 2 days sitting in for Dennis, keeping us up and running. We'll be back on Monday, same time, same place, 3 o'clock right here on 99.9 The Fan. Over the weekend, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Start commenting, set those alerts, do the whole thing. And then the other thing you have to do over the weekend is this. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy. Do we have some Michael McDonald here to play him out? Enjoy some Michael McDonald on the way out. Great weekend, everybody.
All the corner kicks, all the heart-stopping action, and all the soccer. Listen to 99.9 The Fan and Buzz Sports through July 19th as we bring you full coverage of soccer's biggest events.